Henry Rollins once said, "The only reason I get to do anything is because I have an audience, and I need them more than they need me." This week, we celebrate 2 years of Tuesday Night Ham Radio. It's amazing how far we've come and how we've grown. And we owe it all to the Ham Radio Clubhouse and our viewers, like you. We've got a lot to be excited about and a lot to celebrate. We've added new creators. We've even expanded to more nights. And we hope you will join us for a live stream of our own. Celebrate with us this Friday, March 21st, the official 2-year anniversary of Tuesday Night Ham Radio. We'll do a happy hour live stream starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you. But first, we've got another great playlist of premieres, and it all leads up to the Ham Radio Clubhouse live stream. Thanks to all of you. Tuesday night is fun. Tuesday night rocks. Tuesday night is Ham Radio.
Good, happy morning after Vince. Dang it. Gosh darn it. Take it away.
Good after evening noon, y'all.
There we go.
Tim, you need cue cards.
I know.
Right?
I know. I do.
So a little teleprompter off to the side.
Yeah.
I need something. Wow. Golly. Well, hey, guys, welcome to the Tuesday night. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, the Tuesday night playlist, Friday night live stream, happy hour. There we go. But wanted to start off by thanking Mike for putting that video together. And I wanted to make sure we played it again. I'm not sure if everybody saw that Tuesday night in the beginning, as people come and go before they see the live stream or the Ham Radio Clubhouse live stream. So wanted to make sure we played that and give props to Mike for putting that together. His video editing skills have definitely improved over the last couple of years. And
oh yeah,
and
absolutely,
I think that's a good thing. But wow, guys, 2 years we have been doing this, and also I do want to give a shout out. He couldn't be here tonight, but to Scout 75. And Mike, if you wanted to talk about that real quick. And,
yeah,
kind of the beginnings, the starting of the playlist.
Yeah, so for some of you in the chat, and maybe even some of you here on the stage with us, the backstory for Tuesday Night Ham Radio was 2 years ago. Scout 75 and I paired up and released videos before Clubhouse. I can't take credit for that. That was something he had been doing for a little while. I had started my channel in January 2 years ago, and I noticed at some point in the spring, Scout seemed to be premiering videos right before Clubhouse would start. And so I got up the courage and I reached out. I sent him a DM and I was like, "Hey, Shane, you mind if I piggyback off you and release a video before or after yours, right before Clubhouse?" And he was all on board, and we did it. And we did it for a couple months. And then Shane had the idea. He was like, "Hey, we should reach out to others, maybe some others who got smaller, newer channels, and invite them in." And the rest is kind of history. Since then, we've grown from Scout 75 and I to, I think we got like over 15 or so people involved. And I got to say, like, I am really proud of the community and the group that we have built, because Tim was joking earlier about the editing skills have improved. We've focused on bringing in a lot of newer channels, a lot of newer creators, and I've always likened this to having a workout buddy, which I could definitely use, but it's like having that gym buddy where you got people there that are going to motivate you, encourage you, help you along. And, we're all amateurs at what we do, whether it's ham radio or YouTube, and we're all learning from each other. So I'm really proud. And I can't say thank you enough to everybody that's participating tonight on camera and the chat. I'm really excited about what we've accomplished over 2 years, that we've not just held the group together, but we've grown. And we've helped bring in new creators, new YouTubers. And at the end of the day, we're having a lot, excuse me, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I see 18 of us in our coordination group as of right now.
Okay.
Oh wow, it has grown.
You know,
Yeah,
and
and as some of you know, we've expanded. It's, you know, we can't be held down to just Tuesday night. We started doing stuff Thursday and now Wednesdays and everything. So it's good. We're definitely in a golden age for HamTube. There's a lot of
For
content
real.
out there, and when I think back to what there was during COVID when I first got licensed to where we are now, you know, a few years later. And that's a good thing because everyone's bringing different perspectives, different unique styles to the table, and that's important because this is a hobby of hobbies. It's so diverse in what you can do, and we need that. We need that. It's a good thing.
Eric has a good point. Has a funny point here. If this crew is my gym buddies and I'm seriously overweight, I'd consider you more like my drinking buddies.
Yes.
I'll take that.
Cheers to that, Eric.
Cheers. I got the live free and ham glass too. So
you know, and that's you know, that's a very fair point. And
Yes.
to key off of what Mike was saying, this is a hobby, but it's also I don't know, for you. I enjoy doing YouTube videos. I enjoy the technical side of doing YouTube and also the psychological side. And I was having that conversation with my wife. I enjoy watching and seeing what makes people tick, what makes them, you know, want to click on the icon and watch the video. And what's nice is that it's like amateur radio. It's a big experimenting hobby. And now that I've got a group of like-minded content creators that are also out there, we're all in various stages of getting good, not quite to the point where, you know, we can become full-time YouTubers or even hire video editors, but we're getting there and we're having fun. And it's really been an enjoyable time. Even with Frank, it's been an enjoyable time.
Yeah, even with Frank,
Even
Yeah,
with
even with
Frank,
Frank.
yeah.
he's kind of been missing in action lately. Do you have to have groceries and pay rent?
Not pay rent, pay mortgage and
payments?
bills and
Yeah,
all that. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, I'm Freddie. I'm still young enough, reasonably young enough that I still have at least to current retirement age. I still have 28 years to go.
Oh yeah, they'll fly by. They'll just fly right by.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I've always been the one that I'll show up for work and I'll go, you know, at like 80 something years old. All right, I'm here for a train. Now, who are you and what are we doing? And I'd be the best conductor ever.
Well, I stopped the other day, just slowed down a little bit when we were planning for this stream. And I'm like, you know what? I wonder when exactly I joined, and I still couldn't join the playlist, and I still couldn't nail it down. I got it pretty close, but I was looking at some of my earlier videos or before the playlist and then after, and God, they were hard to watch. They were too long. There was too much gaps. There was bad music, and and you guys were my sounding board and called me on my bull crap and just like, hey, I want to see some more of this, you know, kind of stuff. And this group has made me better by leaps and bounds, to say the very least.
You have music in your videos. I have something to aspire to.
I just about knocked it completely out, but I'm working on some stuff that I can still earn monetization money because, you know, I had some earlier videos that were, you know, duty free or not duty free. What am I looking for there?
Royalty free.
Royalty free.
Yes, royalty free. And now all this time later,
duty.
Yeah, whatever. All this time later, they're like,
There's no tariff
monetization for anymore, and shut it off. So I had to go in and do some things, and I'm like, this is a pain in the butt. So
there are services. I subscribe to a service, but it's a flat rate, covers music, covers the templates and stuff like that, assets, video, and photography too. So I can just pay a monthly fee and get access to all that. One thing I do like about HamTube, and all of us, and that's all the streams. One thing that you don't see necessarily with our groups, our circles, is there's good, there's healthy competition, but it's like nobody is like, I'm not going to talk to you. We're competitors, right?
Yeah.
There's none of that. I mean,
No.
any one of us, we can call any one of, it just, hey, what's going on? And
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on this, or doing that. And even going up, whether it's talking to Josh or Jason or any of the guys that have been doing TO that have been doing this for much longer,
Much longer.
they're always willing to help and give us advice and stuff, which is good, because it's really about building the hobby.
Real. Totally agree.
Speaking of building the hobby, I don't want to miss call sign him. John, where's John? What was his call sign, Vince? You knew his.
WV3L.
WV3L.
Yeah, the guy that gets slapped down by chatbot more times than a John in New York City.
There you go.
He made a comment last week about setting up a chat redirect in Discord. So behind Freddie, or in front of Freddie Mac's face is a nice. There you go, nice QR code. If anybody's interested, they can join the Discord. And under the Kids Table live stream, there's a Ham Radio Kids Table live stream channel, and you can actually post things there in the chat.
And we actually had our first Nightbot victim tonight. Chris Radio and Life got Nightbotted because he responded to my message.
That bot is a finicky thing, isn't it?
Apparently, it
smacked
didn't
around.
like him spamming symbols. So apparently my name has too many symbols in it for Nightbot.
Nightbot is killing ham radio.
Yes, what I'm
Right.
saying.
So something's interesting. When I set up the Discord, I got a tool to help with some of the administration and everything. And one of them is basically create an AI bot to help out with that. And it asked me, create a backstory. So I came up with a backstory. Actually, I went to another AI to tell it to generate a backstory.
We're going to test it.
And I did it, right. So it will grow and respond and kind of get snarky and stuff like that. And I kind of wish Nightbot would do that. That would be interesting. That would be fun, because but then I think everybody would be poking Nightbot all throughout the stream just to see how it's going to respond.
That's assuming Nightbot doesn't silence everybody.
That's true.
That's true.
It could grow and give itself some abilities and start kicking us out of the stream.
Yep.
That has the potential to be very entertaining. Actually, we could turn that into something. Research that.
How many times can the Grouch get kicked off the stream?
What I'm saying, every time he gets kicked off, we take a shot, and you make 5 more
What did I miss out on? Shots? Where? What?
shots fired.
So
What we actually need to do is we need to get a special event station set up for Nightbot, where you can like work Nightbot with a special call sign, like November Bravo 0 Tango, and
There you go.
we'll set up in the park and maybe let Nightbot work some FT8 or something. And
Totally do this.
So Whiskey 2 Juliet Lima Delta said from AI to AI, then responded by an AI response. Have you guys seen, there was a short that was floating around where a guy had called 2 AI auto attendants and had the 2 attendants go back and forth. Finally, they figured out they were both AI, and then went into some kind of a digital speak or something. But I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
there's plenty of critical opportunities there.
There's a video from when AI personal assistants were just beginning, and it was a video of Alexa and Siri talking to each other.
Ooh, that that has a potential to be very entertaining, actually.
Sorry, I decided to flex the wrench power there. I just dropped a bunch of tacos, and Chris says, "You don't count, Frank."
Yeah, I'll be darned.
Tolly didn't get onto you either.
Well,
not
no,
yet.
Chris. In all fairness, Nightbot will get some mods if they do it just right. I've been guilty of that before. And hi, Izzo.
Izzo.
Hey, Izzo's in the house, I guess. There he is.
There he is.
Thanks for coming, brother.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah,
And just like that, we ran out of shit to talk about.
Well, I got something since we got Izzo in the chat. Last Tuesday, I drove down to Connecticut. I met up with him, and we activated the Bigelow Hollow State Park. And what a good time, man! Like we hung out, we activated the park, and then we went to lunch. And so
Izzo,
it was great.
Izzo, we don't need to know what you're doing.
TMI.
Did
Oh, boy.
did Izzo bring the ketchup or the all dressed potato chips?
There was a bottle of ketchup on the table that we both used. Yeah.
Bottle of ketchup on the table. There we go.
Gotta have
He was quite touched that I would take the time to send him some Canadian potato chips. I was just pleased I could find somebody on Amazon. Excuse me, somebody on Amazon that would ship to him. And it was worth every cent I paid for them to watch his reaction, especially with the all dressed.
I have yet to try an all dressed potato chip. What's that about?
Oh,
They're gross. God, they're so gross.
It is barbecue and salt and vinegar and a few other flavors all rolled into one.
Okay.
barbecue fish and chips, huh?
That's what it sounds
Sure.
like.
Yeah,
I've got
go
to try
go
it.
with that.
Got to try that.
well, Chris.
Somebody might need to go out and help Izzo there. Apparently, his legs have fallen asleep at the.
Can't get up.
Well, Paul has a good point. Just sit there and enjoy the show.
That's right. Yeah.
And Chris, let's see, where'd it go? The multiple chat thing is a little discombobulating. Yes, well, come over to the Ham Radio Kids table and be in that chat. Problem solved.
That way everybody will see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Since
one
we were
of the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's one of the downfalls of being able to do the multi-stream, and it'd be nice. And it's not like we're using Restream.io. StreamYard also does this, and they have the same issue. So hopefully they're working on that. So that would be nice to intertie those together.
Yeah,
See ya,
indeed.
Izzo.
So, Vince,
Yes.
these look familiar?
Dutch Crunch spicy ketchup. Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
All right. I haven't touched them because I'm not a tomato fan, but we were talking about them. So
Hey, hold on a second. Whoa.
Solo.
A solo. Yep. Go ahead. Crunch.
What's the texture of said chips?
So I went to the store before Mike and I met up on the Labor Day weekend in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and I found some uniquely Canadian treats for him. Smarties, I think a Kit Kat bar, and some chips, some Canadian flavored chips. So it's the least I could do, given he made the longer drive of the two of us.
Wait a minute. Smarties and Kit Kats are Canadian?
So Smarties are Canadian M&M's chocolates. They are not.
What?
They are not the rolls of candies that you guys call. That we call. So Smarties is a roll of candies that dissolves in your mouth. You usually see them out at Halloween time.
Yeah.
Right. That's the American Smarties. The Canadian Smarties are little chocolate candies with a candy coating on them, a colored coating on them.
Kind of like sixlets.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
They're
Like tiny little M&Ms.
And a Kit
They're like
Kat
a little
bar
larger M&Ms, chocolate M&Ms.
Yeah.
came from Canada.
Yeah.
So
So-
I had to Google this to give Paul a good idea here. Tim, share my screen.
Yes.
Those
Yeah.
are
Oh.
Smarties.
Yeah.
Those are
Hold
the Halloween size
Oh.
boxes.
Hmm.
Jody was handing those out at
Now-
Hamvention.
He did. Yes.
Now,
Oh,
the
that's right. I
interesting
did get
thing,
some of those.
the interesting thing about those is those are the American Smarties, and you know how I can tell is the red is bright red like Mike's shirt. In Canada, they don't use that same dye color because they don't allow it.
Probably because it's cancerous. They just give it to those dumb Americans.
The red ones
Well-
give you cancer.
Yeah, who the heck knows? But
I'm gonna get
Oh,
cancer.
Jody,
from the
that's a good
Clubhouse
idea.
shirt.
that's a good idea to bring down some Smarties. I'm going to Hamvention this year, so maybe I'll bring some of those down.
Heck
I'll
yeah.
have to see if I can find some.
Are you going to get hung up at customs or at the border for like what would trafficking? Would that be the
I don't know. It might be the stickers I'm getting printed that get me hung up. Who knows?
Just throw them over the fence and then run around to the gate.
There you go.
Too
Yes.
bad.
It's like that. God, you know, speaking of throwing over the fence, there's that, and I can't remember where it is, but there's a town where the border basically runs right down the middle of the road, or it's either on one side of the road or the other, but it's just like a neighborhood. And so you got homes on one side there in Canada, homes on the other side that are in the U.S. And it's such a pain in the ass, I guess, to navigate your community because you have to go through. There's like a theater, possibly, or no, the library. I don't know. There's some building that's built right on the border. So it's literally one half the building is in the United States, the other half of the building is in Canada.
And that would
I've
be
seen that.
the library and the opera house,
Yes, that's the one.
and it's in Vermont. And now we're going to have to put a hole in the side of the building from the Canadian side, so that people can enter from the Canadian side and the U.S. side,
Oh,
as
boy.
opposed to walking around the U.S. side.
Bet you their taxes are murder.
I bet you they are too.
So Vince, I've forgotten who it is. I've gotten the name before, but B. Willen said Vince should try and smuggle in some beaver tails down to Dayton. I
I don't know that I don't know that I have enough luggage for that. I'm afraid.
Are you flying?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to drive. It'd be about a 3.5-day drive each way, which I would enjoy doing. But I don't have that much vacation.
oh, no kidding.
So,
Now,
but
when
as it
when
is,
you
I'm
say
going to be down there for 5 nights. So,
beaver tail, are you talking like an actual beaver tail or like the beaver tail on the backside of a gun?
okay, so there are many funny answers that I could say to this, and some of them aren't
They're just
safe
brewing
for family streams. But I'm going to let Frank answer this question.
We'll use the word peeler as a substitute for you,
No,
Vince.
Vince, I'm familiar with beaver tails, but not that familiar. You're the true Canadian here, so you get to take it.
Represent.
All right. So I have never had a beaver tail that I'm about to describe. And so, as I understand it, it is a big piece of dough that's big and flat, roughly the shape of a beaver tail, and it's deep fried. And you douse it in sugar, powdered sugar, and maybe some cinnamon.
That's
Eat it
called
hot.
fried dough.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we
Fry
call them elephant ears.
Fry bread, elephant ears,
Yeah.
up in these parts, bannock, Indian fry bread is what
You're
it's
getting
locally
close
known
to
as.
Indian tacos for Oklahoma.
Oh,
There's
totally.
no sugar on them, but there's total taco meat and lettuce and
Yeah.
cilantro and what have you.
No, they call that a chalupa at Taco Bell.
Well, there's brown beans in there.
Drop the chalupa. Drop the chalupa. I remember that commercial. Freddie does too.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, too much of my life watching the commercials and missing the shows. So
All right, so who else is going to Hamvention?
I'm going.
Oh yeah,
I'm going.
Frank's not going.
I'll be
Oh
there.
man, I
Got
tell you what.
three guys in the middle row not saying anything.
I'm not going. I wish I could.
I'll be there.
Paul,
All right.
you going?
Well, so I was supposed to be in Florida, but things have changed. So, in theory, if I had a place to park the RV, I could go.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's kind of late now to like figure that out. I feel like I'm just not going to be able to find a place.
Like what kind of a place? A place for your RV?
Like a state park.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, state
okay.
park or something nearby.
Lake Cowan State Park, south of Dayton, about 40 minutes. I was going to stay there last year, but I was fortunate enough to get really lucky, and somebody wasn't going to make it, and I actually got to park my little travel trailer on site. That'll never happen for another 3 years, probably.
Yeah.
But I actually had booked that place. Lou from Hiking and Hammond, he camped there. Him and Pink tent camped there, but I had an RV spot, and I was able to get it late. I wasn't sure I was going to get a spot at all anywhere but it was like 45 minutes away. It's just south, but
45 Auto says he'd be going, but he just bought a dozen eggs. Oh.
Right.
Dude, he ain't kidding. I bought a dozen eggs 2 days ago for almost $8, and it just about killed me.
Yeah,
Well, that's not bad. I mean, that's kind of down, actually.
That's $8 US too.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like about 14 Canadian. That's over a buck an egg. That's brutal.
We're here in town, and we have 2 hens that lay eggs, and those little
they're
girls
working
are
OT.
going on strike half the time because it's one day we get 1 egg, another day we won't get any eggs, and the third day we get 2 eggs. I'm like, come on now, you got to work on this.
Freddie, I was gonna ask you, how does it feel not being ripped off that badly?
For eggs?
Yeah. $8 for a dozen is like a sale.
Well,
I thought it was
dude,
$2.
around here, normally it's like $2 and some change.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I haven't seen $2 and change for a dozen eggs in years, but we're currently sitting at $13.99 for a dozen.
God in heaven.
But you have to remember where I live too. So
yeah, California is like
Jesus.
taxes the heck out of everyone.
They kill you.
Right.
Like New Jersey.
I got kinfolk out there, and I pray for them every day. Just come on.
I can't wait to leave.
Oh man. Prepam Paul said he spent $8.50 today on his eggs.
Oh no.
As long as the price of egg insulators for the end of wires don't go up, we'll be okay, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I don't understand the egg thing because
Somebody said they're almost up in New York City. They're almost up to California prices.
Well, they found a way to upcharge them for some stupid reason. I'm assuming price of fuel. I don't know.
But so
They're
I mean,
probably
that
going to
makes
pay
sense.
extra to bring them into New York City, just
New
to
York,
drive into
Massachusetts, California. Right. Yeah, that would make sense.
New York and California have almost always been on par as far as prices go, and it's been absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Eric, don't even get me. I see you there in the chat. Don't even get me started on Hawaii prices. We already know it's tenfold more expensive because you got to ship it over. We already know that.
What? It's not like they don't have stupid frickin' chickens on that one island, though. Don't those things lay eggs?
I heard they got chickens over in that island.
There's one island. What is it? My friend was there, and he comes back with a shirt. Stupid frickin' chickens, because the chickens are wild everywhere. Like, don't you get eggs from wild chickens? I don't know. I'm a city kid.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
I'm sorry. There's such a thing as a wild chicken?
Oh yeah.
As opposed to
that's
kept in a coop. Wild chicken.
No. Tim, I upset Mark.
What's you do?
Let's highlight that one. He tagged me and said, maybe you can find other things that come out the south end of a northern pointing animal to eat, Frank.
Yeah. Well.
Mark, I love California for the nature and the beauty. The prices of everything, on the other hand, forget it. Let me get out of here, please.
Yeah, don't tick off Mr. Boondock Echo.
Oh, no, Mark and I are cool.
Did somebody say Boondock Echo?
Boondock Echo?
Echo.
Well, no. It's the new Boondock now. It's not Boondock Echo. It's Boondock.
Boondock.
Mm-hmm. Boondock.
Frank, how much is the gas out there?
It's expensive. I filled up for $5 something a gallon the other day.
Jesus.
It's $2.45 here, I think.
Yeah, don't even.
And I still dream of 79 cents a gallon from all those.
$2.99 here in Delaware for the regular, and I know Pennsylvania is like 40 cents more because they raised the state tax on it a few years ago. I don't know what Jersey is though.
My average spread is, just doing math on stream real quick. I'm paying about $4.58 a gallon per trip.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
And you got to also remember gas stations along highways and at the ramps and in like
In
cities.
small
they're gonna,
towns.
in some small towns, they're going to be more pricier than like in your local neighborhood, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
That's true.
So Paul, because you did this on a paired channel, I can't. Well, only Tim can bring it up. But what is the logo, Frank? You holding out on another channel? No, Paul, I'm not. That is my new logo that my graphics designer made.
Hold on.
There you go. Yeah, that's better. It's covering your face now.
Yeah. I did that on purpose.
Perfect.
You just went up by
Perfect.
30 subs, man.
Gosh,
Right?
yeah. the viewer
From
count
now
shot
on,
up.
that's how I stream. No. But yeah, that's my new logo.
Yeah, the viewer count shot up by 10.
Now it's going to go right back down.
Yep. There it goes.
Oh, that's good stuff. And to answer your question, Paul, there are wild chickens in Oklahoma. We call them prairie chickens. They're not as thick as they are up in Kansas. And
They got to get their own food.
They don't have enough meat on their bones to be hunted as much as they used to either.
Freddie, we lost your beautiful face altogether.
Yeah, we can hear you, but we don't see you.
What's with you guys and those Elgato devices?
I don't know. I tell you what, and I have a Sony
and-
camera. It's a Sony.
You and
But,
Jason.
my capture card just wants to take a break sometimes, and it just goes away.
Yeah.
Come back. I have to power cycle the camera to make it come back. I could be Mr. X. There
You
I
need
am.
to smack that camera.
Well, you do that, Paul. No, I haven't gotten a chance to update the logo across all platforms yet. My PC that I stream and do everything from finally went to PC Graveyard, and I'm using family members' streaming setup to be here tonight. So yeah, it'll get updated. It's just I have to wait for the new desktop to get put together and installed.
Are you using your niece and nephew's Amazon Fire?
No, I'm using my sibling's streaming desktop.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So
Hence
Pat,
the not so great light, horrible audio, and more.
It's not so bad. I thought your window was open there for a while. You had some animation going on behind you.
Patty Boy brought up a statement here on something. Elgato needs USB powered hubs to function 100% of the time.
Well, this Elgato is a PCI card in the computer. It's a 4K capture card.
Huh.
And just occasionally, and I don't know if it's the camera talking to the card or if it's the card just wants to crap out, because you can tell that the card is still displaying its logo in the background. And this nice expensive Sony just, I don't know, it's still on. It just needs a power cycle. I usually reboot the whole smear before the stream starts, but I kind of slid into home base on this one because I was late.
The whole schmear?
The whole schmear.
You get the schmear?
The schmear.
Look who we got here.
Hey, Alan.
Alan's off early.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. I'm still at work. I'm just leaving. I should be home by now. I had some stuff to take care of. How's everybody doing?
Peachy.
We're doing awesome.
Doing
We're talking about eggs and gas and
chickens
and all the wonderful things that are going to get the youth into ham radio.
That's what the kids tables is all about. It's shamelessly stuff for camp and having fun. It's cold out here. I'm almost to my car.
Yeah, you need
I
a
know
better
you're in
jacket.
Indiana now, but there's no such thing as cold for us Californians. You know this.
Yeah, I mean it's not that cold. I can barely hear you guys. It's just windy enough. This parking lot, it's not that cold. It's so flat here That like I swear this is the coldest spot in town. Had I gotta okay. I'm over here.
Somebody
All
buy
right. Hey.
Alan a proper winter park.
We'll go ahead and drop you out and get home safe and
Yeah.
get back when you get home.
One piece,
Sounds
man.
good. I will see you all in about 15 minutes.
Sounds
All right,
good.
Sounds good.
See ya.
All right.
And the chat's gone absolutely insane here, in a good way. John says one more and we got a Brady Bunch, and then of course Eric says it's the 80-meter show.
Yep.
Thanks a
This
lot.
isn't 80 meters. Has anybody complained about their gout yet? I
Not
don't-
yet, but I can
Nope.
do that.
All right.
I don't got
No,
no
yeah, but I
doubt.
found out my red shirt is going to give me cancer, so
I got some back problems.
not
we can
allowed in
talk
Canada.
about.
Well, I've gotten the bursitis. I caught bursitis this week.
yeah.
Yeah, how did that work out?
One of our
How-
streams
how
has
it
picked up a
happened?
spammer.
Well,
which one?
is it
Somebody's
going away?
streaming at Twitch.
And that's over on Twitch.
All right.
Oh, I'll go to Twitch.
Go to Twitch.
I'm going
Go
to
grab
Twitch.
How do I get it, or how did it happen?
How
Or what?
are you treating it?
Acetaminophen.
With live streaming.
Acetaminophen, 800 milligram tablet, and icing it.
Icing it. I was wondering what kind of therapy they had you doing. It's been a while. I used to get bursitis in my elbow a lot.
What
Yeah,
the
it
hell
can
is
be like-
bursitis? Somebody says
Oh,
that's a repetitive strain injury in a joint.
Yeah, basically the fluid or the area where the fluid is or wherever inflames. So
Yep.
your joint, wherever it is, your knee, your elbow, your shoulder, it gets really, really warm. And it's like, I described it as someone sticking a screwdriver through my kneecap.
Yeah, there's a lot of
'Cause it
pain
was-
involved.
It's an internal. You're not going to feel it on the outside. It's like an internal in the joint, and you feel it, and you're like, it's painful as all heck. Probably not as painful as a kidney stone, but that could vary depending on size and everything. But
Take 2 live streams and call in the morning. Yes,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, just
exactly,
like that. Welcome to 75 meters.
yeah.
Please tip your waitresses.
Yes.
Well, I got a question. I'd be curious.
Drew.
'Cause I don't think I've heard anyone here chime in, and I don't know how much this would impact Vince. But I'm curious kind of what people's reactions are to the FCC's delete, and maybe the ARL's response, and if they have issues that they're concerned about, or if anyone here is thinking
Okay.
about commenting. And
I'm going to start.
Yes.
I'm going to start.
Yeah,
So
please do.
I've been a member of the league for a long time. Of course, I've had my call in the States for over 10 years, and I am heavily disappointed that the league took 8 days
yeah,
to issue a statement to say we're working on it.
Yep.
Hell, you could have done that on the first friggin' day.
Yeah.
I am mad.
Very important to us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So,
they should have
total
said something
stall.
on the first day, or
Yeah.
the day after at least. But I think a lot of people are just losing their minds over it, saying like, "Oh, they're going to like take away licensing. They should take away licensing. We should just do it for free. We should just like." It's like, you guys, the sky's not freaking falling. Calm down. Just be patient. Relax. Wait to see what actually happens. What they're going to talk about. They said such a broad statement to begin with the whole thing, and everyone's like guessing.
Yep.
It's like guessing at what
that's-
the next 3 iPhones are going to be. It's like, why speculate? You're going to be completely
Well,
wrong.
If in the world of move fast and break things,
Mhm.
you try to seek a little bit of input from people and get ideas. And
Yeah.
so the comments will say what the ideas are that are going to cause the most amount of pain. And if that's their game, well, then they've got a game plan. I've seen these kind of moves happen before. In an off-roading community, please show us the trails you use a lot so that we can protect them. 1 year later, they're all closed. So
it's a weird.
it's way up there, right? Anyway, just like I'm fit to be tied mad that the league took that long, and I am really, frankly, worried that it could turn into a dumpster fire for all of you guys. And I'm your neighbor, So it's going to bleed over onto my side because there's no firewall at the 49th parallel that prevents RF from coming across,
Exactly.
despite any attempts to build a wall. And I say that with a bit of a smile on my face.
So
I just hope all that crap doesn't happen.
So
And I
both
feel for you.
Paul and Jody have good points here. Prep Him Paul says ARRL has been too busy figuring out their next increase in membership costs. Yeah. And
All right.
Jody said, funny, Vince is the first to weigh in on the FCC issue. He'll be the most vocal foreigner requesting changes.
Yep. And so my question to everybody watching this stream tonight and to everybody on the stream, have you submitted your comments yet?
Absolutely.
I don't need an answer to that. But it's incumbent upon us to do that.
So-
Anyway, thank you for letting me get on my soapbox. I'll apologize now being a Canadian and turn it over to somebody else.
So I guess the question is what they've really, it just says delete, right? So they really haven't asked for a comment on anything specific, have they?
Not yet.
See,
They
that's
want
the
to.
Oh,
problem.
it's coming.
And you got to remember that the FCC handles more than amateur radio. So, like I said, there's just speculation, and I hate speculation. I've always hated it. I've made fun of people speculating stuff, and I think people need to just relax, calm down, and look more into what actually might happen. Well, not what might happen, but how do I say it? Not freak out about just saying that anything's going to happen, that everything's going to happen. Oh, we're going to lose our licenses. Oh, we're going to take away and sell our frequencies. I mean, you're just pulling that out of your rear ends, people.
So I'm going to say this. A lot of people, I think, thinks the FCC's world revolves around us, and it doesn't. We are just a small fish in a big pond.
Yep.
And it's really it's about broadcast frequencies. It's about large bands of spectrum for cellular communications and stuff like that. There is a lot of regulation in there because they just make up rules all the flipping time to justify their existence. Amateur radio, and I said this the other night on the kids' table, amateur radio is probably mostly deregulated. They truly give us a framework to operate in and go do it. We are the least regulated of all the services, except for maybe CB, of them. We don't have a channelized service. Here's a band of frequencies. Here's some modes that you can operate in. Go have fun, right? Here are some guidelines that you have to stay within. And going back to like the mission of the kids table, we're an experimenter's hobby, right? So we have a lot of people that have come into the hobby that are users. They're and I don't want to say that in a bad way, but they're an appliance operator. And so it's a prepackaged built radio for them, ready to go. They plug in an antenna, put on power, pick up the microphone, and they go. And they're doing the activity, but they don't understand the engineering behind it. The hobby is built around the engineering primarily. And I think from that standpoint, like I said, we're not very regulated. At best, you have to study. And I'm sorry, I don't want to hear the complaining. You have to sit your ass down and memorize some tests or questions and go take a 35 question exam.
Do the
You're
work.
not going to know anything about radio when you're done with that. That is to show that you've got the time. You can put in the time and the aptitude to learn how to do it. At the end of the day, you have man, am I getting on? Is this an Izzo rant or is this a Molson rant?
Yes, it's a Tim rant. It's all good.
It's not, and I'm not trying to rant, but I think a lot of it is that, you know, we're so wrapped up on that thing. What could they deregulate in amateur radio that is actually going to be beneficial to us? I mean, because you have to have the guardrails and the whole history of our license to begin with was because they had to put guardrails around experimenters interfering with commercial and military traffic in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
That's the whole history of our license. They pushed us off into some bands. We use them now, but they pushed us into an area so we wouldn't interfere with those guys. And that's our HF space right now.
Well,
I think Mike has something important.
This is. I want to touch on this. This is a little bit separate from the delete, but this underscores Vince's point earlier about the delay in action from the league. And it's something that, unless you are really in tune with some of the things, and I've been following some of this stuff because of what's going on with 900 megahertz. But the FCC, the new head of the FCC, put on the FCC's blog post about needing to explore alternatives to GPS PNT. Now, this is what the NextNav petition is all about, to carve up the 900 megahertz spectrum. What NextNav, the company that asked for a portion of the 33 centimeter band, is trying to do is PNT, and which is position, navigation, and timing. And so, my concern overall has always been, and that's why I always say leave no band behind, because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
Yep.
But more so, I'm not saying that they're telegraphing what their next move is going to be with the petition and stuff like that. But when you see something on the FCC website, it kind of echoes one of the major things before them with respect to amateur radio, because there's two major things in my mind that they're looking at now. It's the petition to carve up the 900 megahertz band, and then it's proposed changes to the 60 meter band as well. And we've lost band space before. We lost part of 1.25 meters that went commercial and never ended up getting used. So we lost almost like half of the 1.25 meter band and whatnot. So, the fact that there hasn't been really much of anything from there, and it kind of goes back to, I always, quick to point out on live streams and chats that, I'm not an engineer, I'm not an IT, I'm a lobbyist. But when I see like that kind of in action, where they're not quick to respond or at least inform their membership body about what's going on and some stuff like that, to me that's a little bit concerning. And there's not a lot that's on the website that's available about some of the things that they're doing with respect to their advocacy efforts. I know that they did submit comments and stuff when NextNav had the petition for 900 megahertz and stuff, but it's certainly, I've seen a lot of the comments out there about, is the league using money, effectively enough or not? And that's one issue. And I kind of look at things a little bit different with what my job is when it comes to lobbying and government relations. And I'm like, oh man, why isn't some of these things being talked about sooner? Whether it's the delete or the move towards wanting to make PNT a priority. So, because these are all things that impact our hobby. So I will get off my soapbox right now, but I did want to push that.
I want to touch on that Mike talked about here. I still had headphones on while I was away picking up packages. 900, it's going to get taken away, unfortunately. That's the nails in the coffin. It's done. I don't foresee it not happening. I only know this because on the railroad, we use 900 for telemetry data and whatnot. And we just recently had to revamp all of that and get it all up to FCC specs. It took us 6 or 7 years to get it all done. And we just got it all done. And they're trying to move everything around on 900. As far as the 220 goes, yes, some of it went to UPS, but a lot of it went to the railroads because we use it for remote control of locomotives inside yards. So I'm on the fence about 220. I love it as a ham, but then as a railroader, I love having the ability to remote control a locomotive when I need to.
Yep. Anyway, those of you watching, definitely encourage you, take some time, get some comments in the near future to the FCC about things that you might be concerned about or, see as potential opportunities, because there could be some opportunities too. I don't want to be doom and gloom and be like, oh, they're going to take our bands away and shut everything down. There's opportunities to maybe say, hey, allow people to operate voice in any part of the band, not just the top half, or maybe get rid of the fees for, or get rid of the license for GMRS, or there's a whole host of opportunities potentially to explore. So it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Or open up 60 meters a little bit more, so
I
it's
know.
easier for people to get on there.
So why is that? Does anybody know why we only have 5 channels on 60? And that is the only channelized portion of our entire spectrum.
Yeah,
It's
that
60
band.
meters.
My understanding is that band is commonly used by government and military and whatnot. I'm not sure exactly why it's channelized. What they're looking to do is give us a slice of spectrum. It's still small, but it would encompass I think 2 or 3 of the channels that we have. However, the concern is that they would want that slice of the spectrum to be lower power potentially. And it's not 10 watts. I feel like it's like 7 or 8 watts or something that would be allowed there, but you'd be able to spin the dial. You know, it wouldn't be channelized. But how it ended up the way it was is I'm not sure, because we don't overlap with 60 meters with a lot of other countries. There's some overlap with 1 or 2 of the channels, I think. But I'm not sure how it ended up where it did. So
Now,
The
Jody
issue is
has a good
60.
question here that I don't know who would be the right person. He asked who at the ARRL would be a suitable person to ask for the ARRL side of the story on the perceived delay of getting the announcement out. I would say put it to anybody that's in the higher ups.
I'd start
Yeah.
at the top myself.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd see who at least I saw the article, but I don't remember any names being associated with it.
So right now,
Going back to
everybody,
them, if possible.
everybody go to X, go to your social media, tag at ARRL and ask them, why did it take you guys so long to respond?
8 days.
Gee whiz.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God
8.
created everything in 7. Actually, 6
Yes.
took a day off. So come on, ARRL.
And how many videos were made about that initial announcement, and how much
Mhm.
speculative comments and theories that have been pulled out of thin air have been
Too many.
created from it. Again, it's
Mhm.
it's going back to the speculation. It's like I've always hated it, even with technology. It started with technology when people were trying to guess what the next big thing was. Oh yes, next time they're coming out with a freaking iPhone Nano. So I started
Mhm.
trolling people, photoshopping an iPhone right next to a quarter the same size. I'm like, there's your Nano iPhone, dumbasses.
Right?
It's the speculation that gets me, where they come up with wild theories that will happen when this thing might go through. And I'm like, you really should stop stressing yourself out and other people and just wait till there's an official announcement.
Did everybody get Jeff's grocery list when he had it up on a screen?
Oh, I want to see that list. But there's a lot
Eggs.
of tacos on there.
3 pints
Eggs.
of Ben and Jerry's.
Actually, it's easier for me to use a pen and paper. My list is on the refrigerator downstairs. So
Whatever
So
works.
Eric has it right. ARRL is slow with everything. Eric, why aren't you here in the studio? Come on in. You know where the link is.
yeah, that's true. They well, I think the
he's
thing with
camera
the, well, someone mentioned it. Chris mentioned it in the main chat that look how long they took to respond to the hack thing last year. But
Oh,
that
yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
kind of understand why it
Yeah.
took a little bit longer due
Lot
to
of
the
damage control.
sensitivity of the investigation of what might have been leaked out, not leaked out, but hacked or captured.
That's
And they
that's-
need to clarify exactly what happened. They just can't say, give you a story saying, oh, we're sorry, but all your questions we have no answers for yet. So what they do is, what companies do is they do their investigation, and when they collect all the information and get all of the evidence and what they know about what happened, all the facts, then they could say this is what happened. But yes, I think they did still take a little bit too long to provide really a lot of information that they could have provided probably at least a week or two after the event.
And Nate, welcome to the world of misinformation machine, where everything posted on the internet is taken as truth. Yeah, that's true. Take everything with a grain of salt, of course. But as one of my favorite YouTubers that's not ham related likes to say, and Jody's gonna love this one: do your research.
Oh yeah.
Who's that?
Charlotte Dobray.
Mm.
Tim, I'll send the group a link later.
Okay.
But she's absolutely fantastic. She's Canadian.
So Snowcone says he's not going to renew his membership, and I'll tell you what, I am on the fence about it. I do 100% support Steve Goodgame and what he does.
Well, sure.
I think that is the by far the best, and he's got a fund set up where if you donate to it, it is earmarked specifically for his things. So that's something to think about if that's something you're interested in.
Well, Tim, I'll do you one better. You can take me for example. I've donated to the Teachers Institute. Never in my life of 24 some odd years of being a ham, never have I been an ARRL member. You don't have to be a member to donate.
No, you don't have to be. That's correct.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm renewed for till January or something. I'll still continue on, but it's important to speak up. If there's things that you're frustrated, unhappy about, or are meaningful and priorities for you, and I value what I see value in government relations and the advocacy work that they do to try to protect the spectrum and try to advocate for hams. But as of late, I'm not thrilled with that what they've actually been doing or not doing. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
So Jody has it. You got it, Frank. Statements not backed by research carry as much weight as a green bean fart. Even if your research supports facts that disagree with mine, at least you have a peg to stand on.
Exactly.
Yep. Now Jody
Elgato got you again, Freddie.
Yeah, Jody sent me,
my problem.
something. I'll try to share this here real quick. Let's see if I can. All right.
And John, come on, no, don't do all caps. That's easy. Yes, one more for the Brady Bunch, absolutely.
So,
and Nightbot.
So here's what Jody sent me. This addresses the 60 meters. So it's kind of like, why do we have channels instead? And so the NTIA, which administers spectrum regulated by federal government, raised 11th hour opposition to the league's request and the FCC's proposal that would have given amateurs a 150 kilohertz wide band at 5 megahertz. And the NTIA's opposition, expressed after the period for comments already had expired, cited ongoing spectrum requirements of the federal government licensees having homeland security responsibilities following some give and take between the FCC and the NTIA. The latter agency reviewed its assignments in the vicinity of 5 megahertz and found 5 lightly used channels it felt it could share. So, contrary to speculation elsewhere, the channels are no harbinger of a new trend in amateur radio allocations in general. This is just a special case. So, thank you, Jody, for sharing that.
Yeah. What year was 60 meters added to our privileges?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I know it's
within the last 20.
I was saying the last generation. It's like the last 20 years or so. Yeah.
Because I do know I think last year the FCC had some proposal or request for comments about changing 60 meters to like that 150 kilohertz area again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and that fell through. But they raised the baud rate or something on some digital data mode or something.
So Jody has it July 3rd, 2003.
Cool. Thank you, Jody. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, because when I remember when I started, when I got my license 10 years ago, that I was really into trying to get on 60 meters, but I didn't know how far back it went.
Alan, you made it, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. How's it going?
We're talking ham radio now.
Yeah.
In politics.
Finally,
I'm late to the party. Sorry, I got stuck there at work. Had some business to take care of. It's not like I didn't sell anything, so I put some commission in my pocket. So that's
Hey.
Nice.
Tim, did we really even need that poll? The answer is yes, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said no. I think it was Freddie Mac though.
Said no to what?
Should Freddie Mac get a Mac for live streaming? So far, it's
Hey.
88% yes and 12% no out of 8 votes.
Don't think it won't happen, y'all.
Look, there's 110 people watching this right now across the various things. We should get more than 8 votes, 9 votes.
yeah,
So
come on,
it-
vote.
John's
It's on the
asking.
main chat.
John's asking in the chat about 60 meters. Is something special about it? Yeah, it's kind of like they equate 1.25 meters or 220. 220, they say it's got some of the nice characteristics of 2 meters, but also of 70 centimeters. And I think that's what you see in the 5 megahertz spectrum is you got some of, and especially I know for me in the Northeast, bands like 40 meters are just money bands. They work pretty much any time of day, any time of the solar cycle. They're going to be reliable, and I'm going to assume that at the end of the day, what it comes down to with 60 meters is going to be propagation, being extremely reliable, good for invis, good for regional communications. Extremely reliable during different parts of the solar cycle, different times of the day, and whatnot. So that's my guess.
So-
I've done a little bit on 60. I haven't done as much as I should probably, but I've had good luck, and it's like a sandwich between the two. It's very similar to both 60 or 40 and 80.
Totally.
So allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
Somebody in this group might be involved in the military auxiliary radio service, where 40 and 60 are very, very, very commonly used for that entity, and so it's got to do with propagation, and it's got to do with where you're trying to communicate with, right? And so basically from 4 to 6 megahertz, you've got fantastic propagation locally, and about 200 to 300 mile radius, right? And so it's very effective in that manner.
So, but no, well, okay, yeah, never mind. Has anybody actually used voice on 60, or is it just FTA?
Oh yeah,
All the time.
yeah.
Okay.
FT8.
All the time.
I've always had a problem trying to get FT8 to work on 60 meters, and I was on 60 meters before FT8 came around. Before, oh god, Joe Taylor created that mode for
JT65.
Well, yeah, I did JT65, JT9 or whatever it was, but FT8 didn't come out till like after I was licensed, and it's a few years after. So I was getting on 60 meters just voice.
I've done some FT8 on it. I've done voice. And I think I mentioned this before, Paul, when we were on one of the live streams and Cody came on. My first 60 meter contact was a park to park with Cody, who you know. And I was out for a late shift, so I had an 80 meter end-fed half wave up. And it was the first time I used emergency mode on the 7300 because I saw somebody spotted in a park on 60 meters. I'm like, oh, I gotta try to see if I can work him. So I put the tuner in emergency mode. It tuned up the 80 meter end fed on 60 meters and got the park to park. And then come to find out after I think Cody said he had his wire just on the ground. Like the antenna was not even in the air. He's outside of Fort Drummond, New York. And I'm down, in Western New York. We're not far. It's totally, regional invis propagation, but he literally just had his antenna on the ground.
And
we made it work.
Very proud of that antenna, by the
Yes.
way.
I would be.
Yeah, it's just a big, huge loop on the ground.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's interesting. Speaking of oddball contacts, today I was out at the park, and I have been for the last year have been chasing Hawaii. I've worked Hawaii from home on FT8 and stuff like that, and digital. It's never been but from here in Central Indiana, Hawaii is it's a rarity. It's exotic here in Central Indiana, and every day there's one or two guys that are activating parks there in Hawaii. And so every guy I get it on my ham alert. I come, I fire up the radio, and I just hoping that I'll get something. Well, today I'm actually in a park with the 891, with the ATOS on the Bronco. I'm on 10 meters already because I'm just playing around, making a couple contacts. It pops up, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just go check it. Let's just go. I could hear him. And I go, oh, I got excited. I fine-tuned that SWR in there, and I threw out my call a couple times, and then he came back to me. He heard me. I'm like, heck yes.
Nice.
So yeah. So I finally got, so that I'd gotten worked all states for POTA as a hunter, but then, they give you a DC as a wild card. So that has been my what's that word I'm looking for? The thing I've been chasing after. It's that thing I've been chasing after for a while.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Now, if he just confirms.
Yeah, I think the DC wild card is kind of lame. I'll take it. They gave it to me, so whatever. But every time someone has contacted me from Hawaii, it's always been just a hunter. Not that I love getting those contacts, because I'm like, cool, I got Hawaii. Someone from Hawaii heard me, and I was able to hear them. That's awesome. But it's never been a park to park. So I think I might have removed the Hawaii out of my ham alert.
Yeah.
Forgot the name for a second. But I gotta check it after this and see if it's still in there. It should be, but I can't recall seeing anyone from Hawaii activating a park recently. So I really should probably make sure that's in there, because I really want to get Hawaii and get actually all 50 states without DC. Then I'll be happy. But yeah.
So, Tim, I want to address something in the chat, and it's been a minute or two. I've just been letting things go as I've been doing stuff in the background.
Oh boy, is this going to be a Frank rant?
It might be.
All right,
Matt,
I am
Matt
on the dump.
and Eric. Mac is wonderful. As Vince said, you can upgrade stuff. What I do when I get a brand new Mac, every time I get one, last one I got was 2011. Every time I get it, I get everything up to the top end specs that you can possibly get default from Apple. You then go in and you remove the parts that you don't want and put in the new parts that you do want. It is highly customizable, and for a lot of things, it is 10 times better than Windblows. For example, live streaming, photo editing, video editing, worksheet, Microsoft Excel, whatever, that sort of stuff, as well as other office things. Mac is 100 times better than Windows. Prime example, I'm not on my streaming computer. My streaming computer, which was a Windows machine, finally kicked the bucket and went to PC hell, PC heaven, whatever. And it's because the P1 power adapter went bad. My Mac, it's been running since 2011 nonstop. It finally, after some smoke and water damage from a house fire years ago, it finally is on its last legs. nearly 15 years later. No.
Macs will last
Mac
a long
is
time.
Mac is 10 times better. And I work with Linux, I work with Windows, I work with Mac. I will take a Mac any damn day of the week, no problem. So don't tell me you can't upgrade it, because you can upgrade stuff, no problem. You can customize it, no problem. And Windows just doesn't do it for photographers. Jody, you're in the chat. Photographers and videographers, 99% of what they use are Macs.
All right.
Simple as that.
So up in that new poll up in the chat there, Team Mac,
Yeah.
Team Windows, or Team Linux? I'd like to see a lot of responses to that to see where people are at.
I'll
Team
agree
Mac.
with Frank on that. I've had a Mac, and the only reason why I would get a new one, which I already done before, and I'm about to do it again, is because I could no longer upgrade the operating system. And in this situation, I can't upload or upgrade the operating system, and I cannot update my video tools, Final Cut Pro. I'm getting along without the new features with the new version of both, and that's fine. But you can't stay in the past, use the same computer forever. You have to update it sometime. And
absolutely.
And I had the money to do so. So why not? I
Chris
want
says
newer
he's not
stuff.
voting. He says he's not
fine,
voting.
don't vote.
He's team all in.
I mean, a
You
computer's
should
a
have provided
computer,
that too.
and they're great. I mean, Windows and Linux and Macs, they're all great computers in various degrees. And I think it really depends on chipsets and all that stuff. But they're good for people that need them. If I want to buy a Mac and you want to buy a Windows, have fun. You just don't need to make fun of me for spending more money and my computer lasting longer than yours. I've always had a philosophy: buy once, cry once.
Yep.
Why am I go buy like a $5? Nothing against Bofang, but why am I go buy a $5 radio that's going to break after freaking 1 year of use for year after year after year, when I can buy like a $100 radio that will last me 10, 15 years? And it goes to other things too, besides just radios. And
I got a question, and this is an honest question, because I think a lot of people are in this boat when we talk about, do I buy $100 or a $200, or even if you went with a Kenwood $700 HT? Granted, it does a lot more, but let's use the Kenwood, the $700 Kenwood, for that $200 newer radio that does a lot of the same stuff. If it were to fall and break, right? So the Bofang, right? It has a place, right? And I hear what you're saying, but if it's a $20 radio that I lose, or a $300 radio, where's the break even? I've got a $300 radio. I've got the
okay. So I will leave it at this.
else is
Matt, and Eric. Yes, we know Windows is not a PC. Windows is the operating system. A PC. Yes, we know that. We're aware of that.
We're speaking
is a virus
here. This is colloquial.
And as far, so if we want to go just hardware, my Mac hardware from 2011 has outlived my PC hardware that died. Literally, I got it last February 24. I got it. It died this month. Granted, I can go in there, just like on the Mac, I can go in there and I can replace the P1 power connector, which I'm going to have to do on the motherboard. I'm just going to swap it out, put a new one in, and you will see the soldering job for that, maybe. So, but soldering's better.
We've seen you.
So clean your.
Well, I think we're triggering Eric here. Yeah. Eric's getting a little triggered.
I've triggered Eric and Matt, so we
might have to tamp the conversation down. He wants us all to get along.
So I wanted to shift anyway. Someone here in the chat moved away too quickly. Vince, Andy N0APX is asking, when do we see Herboda results?
We will see her Herboda results when they are compiled. That is the best answer I can give you. I am trusting that her Herboda results will be out in time for our field day episode later this year. That's what I know.
And
Well,
Chris
there we go.
Bricker, who is the Apple of the radio world, Motorola was. They are no longer. It is now Kenwood Commercial Gear.
Mm-hmm.
So there you
I
go.
I don't know about that, but I want to talk about what Tim said. With the radios, I mean, I think it really depends on multiple things, like your level in the hobby. Like, are you a brand new ham? Have you been in?
Yeah.
Have you been licensed for 10 years? What level of license are you using? How often do you use like the repeaters in your area, or even simplex, VHF, UHF, or whatever? And your budget. I mean, some people, but I've never said anything bad about Bofangs. Yes, they're cheap. I just never had one. It's not the fact that they're bad radios. Well, some of them were for a while, but they serve a purpose. They are a cheap, like $20, $25 to get into the hobby, to start getting on the air. And that is awesome.
So,
But
and that's
there
the-
again, on the other end of the spectrum, you have someone that's been in the hobby for 40, 50 years, sits at home all the time and loves making DX contacts and doing the DXCC stuff. They're going to spend $5,000-$6,000 on a high end radio to do that. Like whatever the Yaesu FT 5000, 1000, the ICOM 70, 610, the new 7760 or 10,
60.
whatever it is,
7760.
or the large. I can't remember the name or the model number of the old Kenwood, the older Kenwood that was huge. That was in that same kind of area. I mean, if you have $5,000 to $10,000, whatever those radios were, to spend, that's awesome. And if that's what you want to do, and that's going to make you happy, that's awesome. It's like the same thing I said about POTA. Do it any way you want to, and whatever makes you happy. And if you want to get a $5 radio or a $20 radio, I mean, that's awesome. If that makes you happy and it gets you on the air and get you excited about it, maybe when a few years later, you get a good job and you make more money, you could buy like $100, $150, $200 radio at the next level. But
Yeah.
I think every radio price point has their own audience or customer base, and there are people like Mike K, MRD. He has like all those Baofangs, and I know he can afford other radios because he has like the FTD5 and Jason KM4ACK has that new Kenwood, whatever that model was. I mean, and they have the Baofangs and they have some of the other radios. Some of them they might get them to do reviews on, but no one really bashes like the HT radios for being garbage, like some of the HF radios that can be, but they all have their spot. Each radio has their own customer base, and they tend to have their own fans. So
let's take a moment here to recognize Tortoise Overland, who just gifted 5 memberships on one of the streams. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you for that.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
So, Eric, since you're on one of the other channels, I can't just type back to you easily since it's coming through a paired channel. Kenwood is the vaporware of the ham world. It might be, but that's because the Kenwood, ICOM, and Yaesu also all have commercial sides of their industries. And Kenwood has been rocking, and I mean absolutely rocking, the commercial side right now. So that's why they've been vaporware for ham radio. That they have been too busy on the commercial.
I will give the same answers here that I do to people who come into the candy store when they say, "What the hell happened to Kenwood?" So what the heck happened to Kenwood was the chip fire that happened during pandemic that sidelined many Corvettes and Camaros and Peterbilts. It also sidelined the ability for Kenwood to produce their chips at their die factory. Kenwood, being the smart company that they are, and any of these companies, let's remember that amateur is a sideline for them. Their bread and butter is doing commercial.
Yep.
Flex Radio, ICOM, Standard Horizon, Yaesu, Motorola, right? Kenwood, all these guys, their main bread and butter is commercial. So what does Kenwood do during a chip fire? They can't manufacture radios, so they focus on their core business to keep their revenue going. And they have a team of people that are now focused on delivering high-end only products to the amateur marketplace, and that will be their focus going forward. I think we can all agree that Yaesu has an approach where they put radios out at different levels in different formats. 3 or 4 HF radios, 4 or 5 mobile radios, bunch of handhelds, etc. ICOM's got a smaller offering, but still broad in that way. But Kenwood's just got that top end offering, and that's the economical reason why.
So you're saying Kenwood is the Corvette of ham radio?
I'm not, but what they want to target, Mike, and what I've been told from Kenwood execs on both sides of the border, I should say, is that they do want to target just that top end only, as opposed to having a full line like they used to do. Kenwood has not left the marketplace.
Not at all.
I just wanted to jump in real quick to kind of circle back to the whole price point thing. At the end of the day, I'll always say it's good to have options and competition.
Sure.
Yes.
We want to have new radios. We want to have new manufacturers. We want to have options. My first HF radio was a G90, and I went that route instead of an 891 because of price. And I knew that I needed to buy other things. I needed to buy antennas, coax, and I figured what I saved, I could invest in what really matters, the antenna system, stuff like that. And and at the end of the day, too, everyone has different budgets and stuff. I'm a Mac user, primarily at home. At work, it's Windows, and I had been paying for Parallels, and Parallels was like $80 to $100 a year, so I could run Windows on my Mac and do some of the ham radio software that is not available on Mac that needed Windows. Well, a couple of years ago, I just was like, you know what, screw this, I'm not going to renew. And I spent like $60 to $80 to buy a Jankopotamus, one of the cheap Windows crap, and it's still running and it still works and it does what it needs to do. So sometimes it's a function of budget. Sometimes you just have to ask yourself, what do I need to do with this thing? And if you want to compare the Kenwood, the D75 to the VG or the new B-Tech and whatnot, it's great that we have a budget radio under $200 that's going to have a lot of the features that the VG and the B-Tech have when it comes to being able to pair and connect with smartphones, to do APRS, to have that open TNC and everything. But there's some things too that the Kenwood is going to do, like D-Star or 220. Now, if you're willing to pay a few $100 more, maybe that matters because somebody does want the D-Star. They do want to be able to do 220 or whatever. But if they don't, it's great to have that sub $200 radio that will do most of what you need on a day-to-day basis. So it's good to have options. I guess that's
so. Tortoise, I want to address this real quick. I never said Kenwood was all that. Kenwood, however, they came out with a dual and quad band radio for commercial purposes long before Motorola got the Apex out. Long before, well, not long, but long enough before they got the Apex series out. But yeah, you look at Kenwood, Yaesu, and ICOM, and people are saying, it's vaporware because they're showing off radios that they're not even close to releasing. They got to show them off to spark the interest prior to the FCC approving them. Otherwise, you just pop it up out of nowhere. People aren't going to go, why would I want that radio? You got to draw them in and bring them in by going, oh, look at this shiny new thing. We're all guilty of this. We're all guilty of this. We see that shiny new thing. Take our iPhones, for example. We see the shiny new iPhone, especially in the earlier years, and we went, oh, we got to have that, right? Same thing with the radios. Until they're FCC approved, they're considered vaporware to some because they're not releasable yet.
And that's an interesting point. I talked about that the other night with Ara in the at the kids table. The manufactured radios, there's a whole slew of things that they have to follow to be able to release that. And one of them is really not putting them out there until they are type accepted, because they have to make changes. If there's something the FCC doesn't like, they have to change it. That's why they don't put it out. They talk in generalities. But you as an amateur radio operator can make your own radio. You can make your own devices. You have a license to do that. And the FCC doesn't care as long as you keep it inside that framework that they offer, that very minimal framework that they give us. And we don't really need to deregulate it all that much.
Oh, and apparently I touched a hot topic there. Nate said, a new iPhone. Ooh, look, Android from 4 years ago. To a degree, yes, but no.
It's also that I could have a 4-year iPhone and still be running the brand new operating system for it that just came out the other day. While Android phones are more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Picky?
Defragmented. Fragmented. They're fragmented into different brands, different operating system versions. I remember a while ago, I remember seeing a chart of like the current Android phones and all the different operating systems that they could run, different versions of them. But they are so fragmented. I could have an iPhone from 4 years ago and run the brand new operating system, while your 4-year iPhone is still stuck, like maybe in a OS that's 2 years old. But it's whatever you want. If you want to use an Android phone, that's awesome. And if you want to buy a new iPhone, that's awesome. And if you want to use that same phone for X amount of years, that's awesome too. It's your choice. Some people just like the shiny thing that people said earlier.
It's funny you mentioned it. My wife, I don't even know what version of iPhone she has, but I know Verizon has threatened to come by the house
and yank it
and
out of her
snatch
hand
it from her because they want to get rid of it. Yeah. God, there's like an offer for like $600 in credits to get a new phone.
Yeah, they're all doing that. I logged onto my AT&T account today, and I have 16 Pro Max that I just bought, like September or October. And they say, "Hey Jeff, you could upgrade your phone." I'm like, "What am I going to upgrade it to? I already have like the newest phone." But they just want you to up your service and get a new device. So that's the big thing with the wireless companies. They're all doing it. AT&T, Verizon,
Well,
T-Mobile.
They're in a pickle because they need to push 5G out, and they need to get the old LTE phones off the network, because now they're supporting multiple infrastructures, right? So they need to get those out so they can get the old equipment out of their I don't know what they call them, COs. In a traditional telephone world, it'd be a CO, central office, but they need to get that equipment out of the things and get the newer stuff in, because they're probably looking at pushing out the next generation, whatever that is, the 5.
Yeah, they got to make room for the hardware at the tower sites and all that stuff. Like they already got rid of, I think, 2G. I don't know if they got rid of 3G yet. LTE is 4G basically, so that's still around. And by the way, AT&T, you need to fix your tower in my area. Thank you very much.
Come and fix your crap.
I fired Verizon and AT&T and all of the major carriers for Red Pocket Mobile. It's like half of the price, and you can choose whether you want to do GSM or CDMA or whatever at the recommendation of Carlos. And I was paying like $65, $70 a month, for unlimited data and, all that stuff that we want. Guess what I pay now? $30 a month.
Are you on
it works great. I didn't believe it at first. Like, is this really gonna? This is too good to be true. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. And that Verizon support sucks too. Don't get me started on that. Red Pocket Mobile, Google it. It works.
Yeah, a lot of those smaller companies they use the major company's tower.
Yeah,
so
like a piggyback type thing.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
and that keeps.
But they're not
their
doing the
costs down.
advertising and spending all the money that the companies are on advertising and infrastructure. They're
Yeah.
just
Yeah, and they're saving money because they don't have to deal with the hardware. They're, like you said, piggybacking off the other companies, and
So-
that allows them to lower their service charges. So
Tortoise Overland says Mint Mobile for the win. I tell you what, when we were at Huntsville, the only carrier up on the mountain that had any service was Mint.
I had
And,
service. Thank you. I had
Well,
good
you
service.
have
FirstNet.
well,
No, it's cheating.
That's
I'm
cheating.
I
sorry.
will send you my. Yeah. Okay. So, Freddie, I know who's running the hotspot next.
I was about to say, Freddie has the hot spot.
I have a hotspot too, and I actually got some external antennas for it in the truck that can move with it to increase its range and
Do
capability.
you have your campsite spot next year?
I do. I got a campsite. I wanted the dadgum cabin that I had last year for Huntsville, and I waited a day after I left to try to.
Oh no, I
To
would have
reserve
waited.
it,
I
it
would
was
have done
already
it
gone.
like 2 days before you left.
Yeah, I should have done it when I got there. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
would have
should book
snatched,
it as you check in, Freddie. That's the rule.
snatched Big Jim's cabin.
Oh, I tell you, I had, and I'm not saying the number of cabin I was in because I'm keeping that one close to my heart because it was magnificent. I loved that spot. It was a perfect spot up on that mountain. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to be camping with everybody else, but I enjoyed the air conditioning very much.
It wasn't
So,
that hot out. It was nice. It was a comfortable.
Hey, Tim, I don't know which paired channel this came in from, but Jeff M asked, where can you buy a $20 radio? Easy. Amazon.
AliExpress.
Amazon.
AliExpress.
yeah, and when I was talking about the $20 radios, I was just giving it a rough estimate. It's like $25. You're not gonna find you might find a radio on one of those
Well,
other
they have a
sites.
special. If you
$19.99.
and Baofeng 1701s, don't buy them because I bought two so far, and this is the one I didn't send back. It's a beautiful chassis. It's a DMR analog, but it's got a whine in it. But it's that Open GD77, which is really nifty.
Is it whiny because it's DMR?
Or because it needs
the
cheese.
DMR sucks because it's dropping packets on every transmission. The analog whines and hums because I didn't teach it the words.
Hey,
So
Tim,
I'm
share my
dropping in
screen.
the. I'm dropping in the chat here. I think no. Gosh darn it! What's it doing? Oh no.
What chat you dropping it in?
Is that a phrase, a paraphrase, or what?
I don't know. what
Can I
it's
drop into your chat, baby?
Hang on.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah.
Let me drop into your chat.
I gotta.
I'll quit your day job.
Show you where it's at.
Bam. There we go. There's a link for $16.83 on Amazon, and if you hurry up in the next 2 hours and 24 minutes, you can get it here tomorrow.
all right.
Oh,
This
that's
If you leave it
even,
in plain sight in your car, they'll break your window and throw two more in.
Only in San Francisco.
L.A.
Freddie,
actually, L.A. That's where that is.
I got
I-
something real quick. I just wanted to share this. This is very timely. I've been working on this, and this might not be the finished product, but I wanted to do something fun for Hamvention, get some stickers made to give away, something unique. And
yes.
so I'm going to show you a preview
Oh,
of
yeah.
what it is. There it is.
20 bucks.
Yes.
That's perfect.
If anyone gets that reference, then
Very fitting.
Yep. You saw it here first, kids.
Well, I'm all out of ideas now, so you got it.
That is
So
way
look
better
for me
than
at
the art.
Hamvention. Hopefully I'll have the $20 as $20 sticker to hand out.
That is way better than the artwork I have for my stickers. Way better.
Oh, Lordy.
You got to have a sense of humor in this business.
You do.
yeah.
Ellicraft for the win. Yes, I agree.
I do want to try to get the sticker. I got to print it out and see. I'd love to see if I can get it to fit on the battery of a UV5R. Like,
Ooh,
fit
that
really
would be a
nice.
great
But
idea.
it's tough because then the clip, if you got the clip,
Yep.
you know, I
Maybe
don't
you
know.
can just
But
make
we'll
it
see.
the same size as the screen and just cover up the screen.
Like I said, we're hams. We're gonna totally overthink everything.
For
Like
real.
like a free sticker. Like
We could do this with it.
You know, I'm surprised right now. First of all, James hasn't shown up. I haven't seen James in the
Right.
chat, but there isn't a bro. $20 is $20.
Oh my gosh, that's the perfect idea for a T-shirt.
Yes, with a Baofeng on there.
Yeah.
But right now, $16.83 on Amazon. You
All
get
right,
there
but so-
for the next
if
2 hours,
James does a
25.
shirt for the Baofeng, I want royalties. Okay, but I will refer to them as spurious commissions.
There you go.
There it is. I'm done for the
Yeah.
night. Thank you. Tip your waiters.
Tip your waitresses.
I was going to say it's going to be a race to see which of our channels comes up with that shirt and their merch first.
Oh, it's
I'm
already
typing
done.
it in right now. I think. Yeah. Send.
Tim, you
Already
wanna know what
done.
it is? You want to know what it is, Tim? James is probably lurking and grabbing ideas left and right and just not telling us. And tomorrow morning we'll all wake up and there'll be like 13 new shirts and like
Yeah.
50 new mugs and
That is true.
Spurious
true.
commission, John.
So we do need one more person in here to make a Brady
A
Bunch.
proper Brady Bunch so
Yep.
that we don't have
Yes.
widescreen formats on two of our guests.
yeah.
Prep Ham Paul, are you in a position to jump in a stream?
And if so, I can send you the link.
He's always in a position to jump into a stream.
He is from Texas. I don't want to know about the position. Some things need to stay private.
Hey now.
Oh,
Is that open?
if not, how's Ham Radio Rookie sound coming in?
That's fine.
Bring him in.
Yeah.
Ben, since I know you're watching, if you're
I
in
mean-
a position to jump in, let me know.
I know. Vince
I
would
just-
appreciate it.
1.25
I just shot him a
meter
text message. I
Heck
just
yeah.
shot him a text.
You can't do text messages off your Windows machine, so there you go.
Oh,
Oh,
you
let's
have an
not
Android.
reopen it.
oh boy.
That's why I have my iPhone right here ready to go.
I tell you what, that's what I like about my Mac OS.
Paul's always in a position. All right, Paul, you're it.
Oh, now we have two
Is
people
that-
coming in. We're not going to have a balanced 9.
Gosh dang it.
We'll figure it out.
Whoever
we
gets in
activate
here
the
first
live
gets
stream.
it. Paul,
Snooze, you
Ben,
lose.
fight
Hurry
to
up.
the battle.
Fight.
Finish him.
Finish him. Half point.
Well, Ken on the paired channel, I'm glad you asked. Yes, there is. If you scan the QR code right above or right next to Tim's head up there, up in the corner, you can
Yes.
join the Discord.
Oh no, actually, I changed that. That's actually linking to the YouTube channel for the kids table. Well, hold on. a
Oh
second.
well, scan that and then
One for the
link on
Discord is
Discord.
$5.99 tonight.
There we go. Now we got Discord.
There you go. You can scan that and jump right into the Ham Radio Kids Table Discord.
Yep.
Okay, Paul says rookie can go. So Ben, you're up. Come on in.
Yeah, he needs a few minutes, he says.
Oh, okay.
Was it got hair and makeup? What's
Well,
going
he's
on?
got a bit of shirt on and combs
He,
hair.
he has hair.
Yeah.
He and I did a video last night, and so the content's going to come out in a bit. But that's the one thing to be honest, I'm jealous about. The guy's got hair, and he's a super nice guy, of course. So
Well, he's
Oh,
Canadian. Of course, he's a nice guy.
And
Amen.
not all Canadians are. I mean, we have our share of buttholes up here too.
Oh no, Vince. I've
Posers.
had one in my video
Posers,
comments.
yeah.
a Canadian butthole.
Take off, you hoser.
So what is back
Hey.
bacon?
Take off you hoser, A.
Good
Yeah.
day, eh? Good
Yeah,
job.
hey, can I insult y'all? I'm going
Sure.
to give you the quintessential Canadian insult. Goofball.
Look,
That is the quintessential
Goofball.
Canadian insult if you've never heard it. So,
Hey,
You never
Paul.
heard it.
That's
I gotta
all
make
right.
sure-
The military has gone to Goofy Goober.
Goofy goober. Okay.
Goober.
Oh, you're such a goofy goober.
I got to find which stream is not muted and mute it.
Uh-oh.
Streams up.
And
Okay,
yeah,
I got
no,
it.
Vince, I've met.
Shout out
my
to Prep Hand
comments.
Paul for streaming from all of our channels.
Yes.
Yeah,
There we go.
I've still got them all
Man
up.
is a marathon.
I had all.
Remember
of them
how
muted.
earlier we were talking about putting two AIs together and getting those to talk? Prep Hand Paul's doing it with the comments for the different streams.
I'm trying to give everyone equal love.
All right. So here is our Brady Bunch, but we are now 10 wide.
I was going to say,
Good Lord.
once Rookie comes in, I can head out. I was just filling in the gap.
Oh,
Folder.
talk to
Is
us
my
about
audio
the
coming through?
storm going on in your picture.
Yeah, you're 5 and 9.
Back
Yeah,
doors
this is
open.
one of those AI images created.
I'll be completely honest. I stepped away and grabbed myself some itchy back because I haven't eaten much today.
Yeah, my supper's downstairs right now. Barbecue.
Barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue ribs, man,
Uh,
with the
And-
fixins.
Ben, since you're now here, to answer your question, I'm over on the Ham Radio Kids table chat, so
Okay.
that's the chat to hang out in.
okay, that's where all the cool kids are. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotta clean off my camera here to give me.
All the cool kids hang out at the kids' table.
Now you need one more person.
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
2 more.
I
Two
think
more.
10 is the cat.
Oh, wait, 2 more.
Wait,
Yeah,
if I sit like this. Oh, I know what I can do. Like,
We got 10. We've
Yeah,
added.
there you go.
Just give us a nice.
There we go. I'll make that easy. We squared that up.
Oh, I think you got Frank's good side. Wait. Oh, never mind.
wait a minute. Now my head looks fat. Can you put me back in that one?
Yeah, you can move me out.
Freddie, it's called quick change
There you
in OBS.
Ah, there you go.
Now I
There you
gotta
go. You got to be
put
fast on the
mine
draw.
over
Yep.
What's up, Paul? How you doing, buddy?
Hey,
Yeah.
I do your sound effects. There you go.
Two Pauls make it right.
on this side, I have to do this.
There we go. Hey, how about I put that down on the monitor that I'm actually looking at now? There. Won't be staring up.
Wow. So,
I'll just lift Jeff.
Ben, yes.
Ben,
Ben, yes.
Yeah.
cool. Thank you for joining.
No problem.
Not everybody knows you here. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel and what you got going on in ham radio?
Yeah, who the fuck are you?
Sorry, say that again? Let's see. I'm the ham radio rookie. I've been in the hobby for like 2 years. This is starting to sound like I'm at a 12-step program.
It's all good. It's all good.
Hi, ham radio rookie.
Yeah, but
And
I started messing around with things like I on a joke kind of made a duct tape antenna using copper foil tape, and that led me down a path of doing a J-pole out of Faraday cloth, and then I asked people if they wanted to buy some, and then next thing you know is what am I? It's a year later, or a year and a couple of months later, and it's my full-time business making antennas, which is really kind of a shock. But kind of stumbled on a unique way of making things that are super lightweight and good for VHF, UHF, but some HF stuff's coming. So
Ooh, exciting.
yeah.
And I dropped your link in the main chat.
Oh,
So
thank you.
if the paired channels want to grab that and drop it in their chats.
Yeah.
Well, I got to ask Ben. I got to ask him because I mentioned it earlier with
There it is.
220. Are we going to see a 1.25 meter Faraday anytime soon? But then I also want to ask the 6 meter Faraday, like how's that been doing for you?
The 6 meter sells about as good as the propagation.
Magic sales.
The thing is that the people who want it really, really want it, right? And,
Yeah.
and it's an expensive antenna. There's a lot of material in it. So the 1.25, I've been asked a few times, I really should just make one. The problem I got is that I've got antenna analyzers, but I don't have a 1.25 radio. Although then again, Vince lives like an hour drive from me, so that's really no excuse anymore. yeah, I guess I could make one coming up, but I've also got focus on this Moxon that I'm making right
Yeah.
now. So
No, it's cool.
Ooh.
No, thank
it
you
for
for doing
next
all
month?
you're doing. It's awesome
Yeah.
what you've done with the Faraday.
Question. So you are the Faraday guy.
I am.
Yes.
The Faraday guy.
That's on my radar, man. That belongs to my 705 kit. It's right here, and the Ed Fong Japel's great. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. But that portability, I have this little bag right here. This.
Alan's reaching.
Oh, whoopsies! I dropped something.
I just wish it was a little
This.
cheaper.
The Faraday would fit right in here next. There's a pack tenna in here now.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go and play with that. Linked a dipole, everything that I need. So the Faraday belongs in this bag.
It does, and there's one. So for what it's worth is for the last 3 or 4 months, I've been working with a company in the U.S. to see about getting it manufactured down there. This was, and I don't know if it's going to be any cheaper because these things are labor intensive. But
Really?
yeah, the sewing them up and everything does take quite a bit of time. So we'll have to see, but like hopefully we can get the price down. I don't know. We'll have to see what they come up with because it's more a licensing deal for me. So we'll have to see how that turns out.
So
What was your name?
Then
What was your-
Mark has a question. Can we see the Moxon prototypes?
Sure. Okay. So here
Yeah.
this is the folded up one, and while we're chatting, I'll put it together. So
Now, real quick, everybody needs to sign the digital NDA.
The one thing I've been finding quite interesting on this one is the SWR. I've never really been able to I occasionally, depending on where I'm standing and if I'm holding the right arm out at the right angle, I can get it at like 1.1. But for the most part, it's 1.5. But it still gets out. So we've got like a little 3D printed cross piece, and you put in these guys here, and this because it's a live demo and unprompted, this is about to go south on me. Something's gonna tear or something, but it's all good, right?
Oh, hey, where'd he go?
I don't know where he went.
Who, me?
You're the guy in charge. Yeah, you're okay. Just keep going, Ben.
Oh, there you go.
Tim fumbled his fingers.
I fumbled.
So you basically put everything in like this. I'll have to have the assembly instructions, but there you go. Now this one here, this element ended up being about 1 centimeter shorter than this element. So in a really weird twist of fate, adding a hairpin made it match. So I'm still using it, but there won't be the hairpin match. And
Would that be considered an off-center fed Moxon?
Yeah, but there you go. So 6 ounces, tire BNC into here. It roots in. There's a little root or a notch for a coaxial cable in there, and then you're off to the races and point.
Right.
And I've been finding that this thing's exceptionally directional. Today I had it in my shop and I was pointing it to the south, and I could hear a whole bunch of stuff, but then the squelch was getting broken, but I couldn't hear anything. So I picked it up, turned it around, and then I had full quieting on somebody else on the back end. So I was kind of impressed at what was happening there. Yeah.
So we have 2 comments in the chat.
Yeah.
The first one is "shit up and take my money." I'm pretty sure that's a typo. And the next,
But we would like to see a picture.
and the next one is it looks like a ham radio spirit catcher.
Well, you could do that.
That's
or-
Dream
There
catcher.
you go, dude.
I was
That's awesome.
thinking that if you drive enough power into this, it might get rid of mosquitoes too as they hit.
I'm saying that's a redneck Saturday night right there. All you need is bug zapper and some beer, and you're good.
Yeah.
It's a 2-for-1. It's a redneck Saturday night, and you can work Freddy's All-Star nodes.
Yeah. There was will it kite? It won't. Actually, this is one thing is if you follow my channel, there was about a year ago I did a Yagi, and I called it the Flaggy, and it's quite a bit bigger than this one. And it was pretty much a kite. So that's why I got door screen and then this fabric. So this thing it weighs nothing. It's kind of weird. So Yeah.
Cool. Hey, I see Lou hiking and Hammond in the chat. Lou, if you go into the Tuesday night section of the back channel, the link to the stream is in there if you want to join us.
And I also want to make a special shout out to Karen Eve Murray. Good evening, Karen. Good to see you in the chat.
How are you following this chat? It's like scrolling. As soon as I try to read something, it pops down.
Oh, it makes it worse. We're streaming on multiple channels too. So chat, there's different groups of chatters.
Yeah,
on different channels.
Tough.
Like me on YouTube going, why is everybody talking about this chat, but I don't see anything?
Must have been following Frank's channel.
Hey Ben,
I'm not paired tonight, so good luck.
I got a couple other quick questions, antenna questions for Ben. So with the Farajays, should you be running those with a choke at the feed point? So should hams, if they're running more than like QRP power, more than 510 watts, should you be using a choke at the feed point for those or not?
So let's go back to, and I think for the next 40 years I'm going to be pleading this is I'm the ham radio rookie. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
But my methodology of testing is that, like, throw it on the radio, and if the smoke comes out, you fucked up. Excuse the French, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's right. It's French,
right? It's French for fucked up. Anyways, so I've driven 50 watts through these with no problem.
Okay.
And if you look at my HF antenna, I've got an HF. I call it the random stick. Again, there's another video on my channel on this. I threw a 4-to-1 on it, a 9-to-1 on it, a 49-to-1 on it. It's basically built sort of as a random wire. But I found that it works just bare bones way better. And I can't quite explain it other than if you look at the properties of the Faraday tape or the Faraday fabric, what's happening is that you've got all these fibers intertwined, and you've got capacitive and inductive coupling all the way along the thing. The velocity factor, as far as I can tell, is about 0.5, which, most people will go, well, that's not going to make a very good antenna. But because of all the fibers and because of all the skin effect and all the surface area of all these fibers, it really does get out. It gets out incredibly well. In fact, I've got a 32-foot in my backyard, and it tunes up to 40 with, I think it's like 2 picofarads, and that's it. It's just like a kick, and it's in there. So it wouldn't take much to tune it. And I've talked, the best contact I've had SSB is 14,000 kilometers, so just shy of the other side of the earth. And I only have I run 80 watts max off my 991A because I don't want to let the smoke out. At any rate, long answer is I don't think you really need a choke. But that being said, do I throw chokes on my coax? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? It doesn't take you any more time to throw a little choke on or do a dirty ballon. Then do it.
Choke's not going to hurt it. Choke will never hurt you.
Yeah.
So
always be choking.
Vince, you didn't think this was going to turn into a let me spend your money night, did you? Because John said, "There goes my money,"
and I said, "And at least it wasn't me for a change."
Exactly.
Did I show you the new wiretap CW key?
There we go.
Do it again.
You are embiggened.
So, yeah, I made a 3D printable CW key. I like the 3D printable ones out there, but all of them seem to be for portable. I wanted something that would sit on my desk and look pretty so that I would be more tempted to actually learn CW. Has it worked? Just a little bit. But I know it's against the grain of what a lot of people are doing, but I am selling the plans instead of just giving them away. But the plans are like a 10-page document, and they took me a lot of engineering time. Like this thing took me a while to figure out. So yeah, there's that.
And I can attest to the fact that it is a wonderful key with a really nice feel to it. It's nice and light. It has, the version that I got has rubber feet on the bottom. Ooh. A guy can just as easily put magnets on the bottom. It's a very cool key.
They're magnets underneath those rubber feet there, Vince.
I didn't know that because
Yeah.
my desk is wooden, right?
Yeah.
And so, and it's pretty good looking too. Somebody called it the uterus key. I didn't think that was particularly ingenious,
Where's
but
James Hannibal? We got another T-shirt up here.
The
Oh,
Yuki,
Lordy. Yeah.
the uterus key.
Well, yeah, look at that. It is magnetic. How about that?
So here, I'm gonna ask everybody with this Moxon. I was thinking of calling it the Foxon because using Faraday tape, use an F. But I also realized that if I end up using a hairpin or something like that, then it's almost like a Yagi. So I was thinking of calling it a Joxon or something, or a Yoxon, or what should I
Maybe a
call it?
on.
Hmm.
Well, it's almost a.
know.
I'm gonna have to dig on that one for a while.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, I've been here doing nothing but pitching my stuff, and I'm starting to feel kind of embarrassed about that.
No,
So
no.
Well, that's
So-
okay. N2AKJ on one of the pair channels asked, price.
for the key or the Moxon?
The key.
Oh, good
I'm pretty
question.
sure.
But I
Drew,
think-
Drew's a CW guy, so that'd be for the key.
Yeah.
Okay, so the key, I've got some fully built for 75 US. And I know if you go into my video, I said I wanted to make a cheap key. What I found out in my journey of making a cheap key is the reason why these things cost so much is, oh my God, try to put one of these lovely little pieces of gear together. There's a lot of screws and fiddling. So that's why it's expensive. But the plans are $18. And then the fly swatter. The fly swatter is a good one. Maybe
Ooh, yeah.
The Yaxon. I like that name.
yeah.
Yagson.
Yeah.
I don't know, Ed, how you'd say that.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Philly, so with a Philly accent.
The Mooson. That's interesting.
Ooh, now you're talking.
And with the Foxon, I think that's probably going to be coming in. Again, we're just finishing production, figuring out how long it actually takes to make them. I'm probably thinking it's going to be in the range of like 150, 200 US. I know these are expensive, but we put a lot of effort into making sure that they're good and tested and everything. So,
And they're super
that's my
lightweight
skill.
too.
Yeah.
Where else can you go to get a VHF directional antenna that weighs 6 ounces for your soda expedition?
Yeah.
Jody
And you can
has
beat
it.
people over the head with it.
it won't hurt
Jody
them.
has it. Mock swatter.
The mock swatter.
Sounds
Man. Okay.
Oh, Ed says I got it right. So it's the Yagson.
Yeah.
Yagson. All right.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, there's a bunch of names for you, Ben. Here's some market research. And
Yeah.
hey, so we had some fun this week, you and me, right? We were playing with Radio Mobile Online.
And Vince learned me.
And Ben taught me a couple of things about Radio Mobile Online.
Yeah, but
So,
well, you go, Vince.
well, I was going to say, this came about easy enough. So how do I find a nice high place and figure out, like, how do I predict a path from a nice high place near my home where I want to test this new fly swatter antenna, or the Mogson, or whatever we're calling the Mooson. And how do I know, like, what repeaters I can hit so that I can see what I sound like at the other end? And so I showed him a tool called Radio Mobile Online. This is a free tool. It produces coverage maps. I don't know, Ben, if you've got some screen grabs to share while I'm talking. Free coverage maps, or pretty colored maps to show you what the expected footprint is of your signal. It'll build a prediction for a link from point A to point B. So it's a whole bunch more than just using something like SCADA or heywhatsthat.com, which just gives you a profile. This is a very in-depth tool.
Vince,
We use it for planning repeater links.
Is that the VE2 website?
VE2 DBE. Yep, that's
I'll drop
the
it.
one that just got dropped in for sure.
Oh,
Now, guys,
Tim's on top of it.
great, thank you, Tim. Now, listen, guys, this tool is free, as in beer, free, and this tool is the same tool that we use commercially, except you pay lots of money for it. So, thank you, VE2 DBE, for allowing us to use it non-commercially for free. You can't plug in commercial frequencies to this version. It's only for the amateur frequencies. and it's commercial grade stuff.
But I want people to understand that, like, I was waffling around for literally a day, going through SCADA core, plotting out from where I was going to stand to where the repeater was, and doing a cross section. And I was thinking, this is great. I've got everything figured out. And Vince looks at it and he goes, there's something better, and you're missing a whole bunch of information. And I'm like, what? So he walks me through this, and it was one of those where I realized I wasted a whole bunch of my life. But it was a great learning lesson. At the same time, this is something else. So how do I share pictures in here?
There's a little up arrow button down below the Brady Bunch view.
Yeah, it's right in the middle.
Okay.
Should be right below you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see if I can select the window. There we go. So this would be Hailstone Butte, is one of the repeater areas in our area that's up on a mountain, and this goes out like 300 kilometers to the edge of the yellow. So like this thing's got insane reach.
300 kilometers, about 185 miles.
Yeah.
Dang, that's pretty good.
Okay. But this is the kind of plot that you get, right? This is sort of like best case scenario. And then I'll open, see, window. This is where the wind comes. So we'll do that one.
Hey, good evening, Portable Ham. Welcome on board.
Let's
Well,
see.
put you up here. So you're, I think, can you
Did
go
that
ahead and,
picture come through or no?
No, not yet.
That's weird.
We saw Hailstone Butte. That was the last share we saw.
hold on.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Now, Vince was walking me through this, is that you've got information of, like, you put in the latitude, longitude, altitude, all that kind of stuff, all the tudes, right?
Got all the tudes there.
Right. And then you've got the radio transmitting, the radio receiving. But then you have, what it does is it calculates the free space loss, obstruction loss, forest loss, urban loss, statistical loss, the whole thing. And what I found that was really awesome is the 142.95. That's sort of the,
So the total path loss.
Yeah. So in the middle of the boxes of text on the right-hand side, they'll say 142.59. This is one where I just hit the repeater, I could get through. And Vince goes, he told me before that if that number goes higher than 140, you're probably not going to get in. And lo and behold, this one here that I hit, it's in this little red dot in the middle of nowhere, but it's literally right where the repeater was. And I couldn't believe how accurate this was. And then you've got like the football. You know what? I'm sitting here talking. Vince is the expert on this. Maybe you want to.
You're doing absolutely great, buddy. I'm so happy about
I'm just
this.
regurgitating what you told me.
Well, that's okay. That tells me that y'all were listening, which is good too. So from left to right, from the source to the destination, is the way you view these things. I always think of this ellipses that you see on screen. I call it the football. Not that I'm a ball fan, but that doesn't really matter. But you can see on it the path that it's going to take, and you can see a path of diffraction as it hits over the hill, comes over the top of the hill near the right-hand side of the screen, near the destination where it's going. It gives you that total path loss figure. And now if you're a real geek, nerd, whatever, and those are positive words in my book, as always. If you take a look, excuse me, if you know how many watts you're transmitting at and how many dBm that is, and then you can take a look at the sensitivity of the receiver at the other end and how many dBm that is, you can take a look at the path loss and know just how many watts you need, or ERP, effective radiated power, through gain of an antenna to get a signal there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward stuff.
And it also saves me a whole lot of time of like standing on the top of a hill in the middle of a snowstorm or something cold, because we're still in the middle of winter here. Like
we're having second spring right now.
Yeah. But
so we had first spring and then it got cold again. Then it's second spring and it's going to get cold again. And fourth spring comes about July, and then we enjoy 6 weeks of summer.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
It's May long weekend up here is when it's sort of the last snowfall, and we call that like bonus winter. But At any rate, so it saves me, like, I can figure out what repeaters are active, which direction I need to point, which ones are going to be most successful, and then get on the phone or on the radio and tell people, can you listen at this point in time? And then I can make some good video content of me jumping up and down, going, look at how great this is.
Yeah, indeed.
So Chris Bricker says, "Holy crap, this is cool! I'm going to look into this." And nerds, and then Grouch over there says, "Vince is one smart mofo." Absolutely.
Oh, he is.
So
real.
So since if everybody thinks Vince is a smart mofo, make sure you hit the like button on any of the streams that you're watching. Hit the like button.
Yeah.
Except for Frank's.
And even if they think I'm not a smart mofo, hit the like button anyway.
That's right.
And don't
Smack
forget
that-
to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and I've got a video that I'm just editing. It will have coverage of, Vince and I talking on this, him walking me through what these numbers and everything mean, because literally yesterday I had no idea until Vince, told me. I think
24 hours ago we were talking about this.
Yeah. One thing is, if you're going to talk to Vince and he goes like hardcore nerd on you, you're going to understand about 50% of the technical terms coming out of his face. But the rest of it's pretty cool.
just stop me and ask. Sometimes I'm hard to stop.
No. You're not hard to stop. I'm just like, you are probably one of the smartest people I know, Vince. So this is why I'm saying it.
So,
Dude.
Ben, I got a question for your antenna there for the Moxon. Do you plan on making any for HF bands? Any of the other HF bands, that is?
Yes. This is one of those things where the business is kind of growing in a weird way. So I got to be careful about what I say. So but screw it. So one thing I've been doing is you got the random stick, right? So you have one stick coming up like this. If you take another random stick and you put it up like this and you do a bridge across the top, but you make it so you can turn that into basically a Moxon, but if you put little tail wires on the end, on the top and bottom, and you can turn it around. And you can also, because it's, I've got like a 40-foot whip effectively that I can extend and adjust so I can tune it. And I was thinking about doing Moxon. I'm also looking at doing a slot antenna version of this, where it'll be a little simpler, where I don't necessarily have to have a gap of the wires at the top and have it precisely spaced. Is I can just make a bridge across the top, a bridge across the bottom. Then I find if you get your feed points and you move it up and down along those two posts, is you can find a 50 ohm feed point. And at that point, I love Roth Hamels, dude.
Oh my God.
Look at this thing. Look at this beast.
Like, hey, we could almost we could touch them.
Yeah, see, but look, I got how many bookmarks you got?
Not that many. I talked to him at Orlando.
Yeah.
I said, dude, can we get this in a digital form? I'm a digital guy.
Oh my God, yes, please.
They will not do it. He acted like they didn't know how to do it. I know they know how to do it. They don't. I know why they don't want to do it. I know why they don't want to do it is because
people spend too much time staring at screens.
Yeah.
No, I think it's because the information will wind up all over the page, all over the place, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you could scan it. I'm like, yeah, no, I can do that.
True enough, but yeah, it's just an insane, like, oh my God, the wealth of knowledge in that. Anyway, so yeah, there are a couple, like a Moxon that's gonna come up that's HF, but I have better hopes for the slot. And the reason why I like the slot is that even though it's vertical, it's going to be horizontally polarized, and that horizontal polarization will be just slightly higher than the halfway point. So if I have a 40-foot whip, then it's going to be at 20 feet above the ground, and there's almost zero footprint. So think of a horizontal polarized version of the DX Commander that's adjustable.
Nice.
Yeah.
And polarization matters for when it comes to certain bands and modes and stuff.
Doesn't necessarily for HF.
No, yeah, not so much for HF, but I'm
not for
thinking
HF, but for the higher
VHF,
bands,
UHF stuff.
Yeah, totally it does. Yeah, it's a 20 dB difference between vertical and horizontal.
But like a 6 meter or
bands
10
6
meter,
meters and up.
those two, I think would, it does kind of matter a certain amount, depending on how close the contact is, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I do a lot of VHF contesting, and a lot of the folks regionally in Western New York and Southern Ontario, they're gonna if you're serious about VHF and above, you're gonna be running horizontal. Because it's easier to manufacture gain in the antenna that way than with verticals.
Yep.
And I've even in the last contest in January had to switch antennas to make an FM contact on horizontal, just because we were close enough where we could make an FM contact. 705 to a 705, so it was, and I think it was a 6 meter one too. But the cross polarization is enough to wipe out that, and so switching to horizontal to do FM is a weird thing. But if the other person's running horizontal or whatnot, then you got to do what you got to do.
Well, I think we should all start, everybody tilt their antennas to 30 degrees, and we'll just mess with everybody. We'll have only the 30-degree club, right? There we go.
Yeah.
Everybody lean over.
Yeah, and I'll just share this real quick. Well, I since I got the floor and was just talking about 6 meters and whatnot. I just purchased the 6 meter Faraday while we were on stream.
Oh,
so,
really?
So
well, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. How do I do this? Let's see here. Window.
So you pulled a big gem and purchased something on stream.
I did. And
did you buy the customization for the call sign?
I put it on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to say, if you didn't, I was going to give it to you for free. See, you should talk to me first, man.
No, don't worry. I want to support you in what you're doing and stuff. So I'm not looking for coupon codes or anything. I don't know how to add that. There it is. There's the proof. See there.
Mike's going shopping.
Dude, I look for a coupon code every website I go to.
And you'll notice I cut off the price just not to discourage anyone. But no, I think it's important. Yeah, I try to support all the creators. Whether you're making antennas or you got a channel or whatever, and
t-shirts
and stuff. But for me, I think what attracted me to the 6 meter one is the fact that I should be able to really roll that up, and that's like 9 feet, but that's gonna pack up a lot easier than if I were to make that with ladder line. I think
it's 6 ounces,
or I hope so. Otherwise, I want my money back. But no.
He's grabbing one here. I was gonna say, Ben, I got one here if you didn't have one at house.
A good 6 meter option other than a dipole that I can deploy when I'm traveling. So,
and Chris Bricker, I'm not sure if any of us have a
I see what you did, Freddie.
Okay. There you go. There's your 6 meter.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, Freddie.
So 6 ounces, and that's the 6 meter antenna.
Do these come with that custom holding carrying clip?
No, you got to purchase those yourself, but
purchase those separately. Okay.
I do have one thing that turned out to be kind of a happy mistake that I found out, though, is that their 6 meters is pretty big, right? So it's tuned to the lower end of the band. And you want to raise the frequency, say you want the other end of the band, is that at the top, there's a slide toggle like this. So it's just like a little slide toggle.
Oh,
right. So what you do is you bring the element in, and you can see how it's folded over. And then when you hang it up, you've just effectively shortened it. So you can tune it by pulling this through, doing the fold over.
Nice.
That's why I want to support you.
All of the Farajays do that.
Totally outside the box thinking right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And I plan, and I'm just, anyone who's watching, if you're still with us, God bless you. Thank you for all the support. I can tell you right now, I will use the Farajay on May 25th. And the reason why I'm going to use it on May 25th is because it's 52525 or 52.525, which is the FM calling frequency. And I've been talking with some folks locally, and I'm going to try to do a bigger push down the road to try to get more people, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to make contacts on the
Literally.
FM calling frequency and 6 meters on May 25th. So I think that'll be fun, and I'm going to try to promote that, and I will be using that for sure. So
Sweet.
So,
Yes.
Mike, Sean in chat wants to know, did you get 2 of them? It's max 2 per customer.
I did not. I did not. There were only, I think, 6 or so left in stock when I ordered. So get them now.
Yeah.
Before the tariffs.
So right now with the
Don't
tariffs,
actually
this is
intend
one thing you bring up an interesting point. So one thing that happened is when the tariffs were originally launched, your U.S. postal system got basically almost shut down because there's a thing called the de minimis value, and that's the minimum value of something
de minimis.
that can cross the border.
Yeah.
They had no way to process all the payments for this, and they didn't know what to do, right? And I think they still don't know what to do. This is the win on pretty much all of my antennas. As long as they're below an $800 value, they go below the de minimis value, which means theoretically they can cross the border.
Yeah, the de minimis exemption means the minimum. I think it's Latin. Freddie might know that better than I do. And it's that $800 number. I'm shipping under the same premises to all my customers in the States.
So I'm not saying don't buy now, but like buy now. No, I mean,
we're hoping that de minimis stays in place, as you guys should hope so too. And if it doesn't, I certainly hope that the tariff code for amateur radio parts, 85256013, in case you need it. Let me repeat that, 8525.60.13 is the tariff-free code for amateur radio parts, and that's what I ship under. And I hope that stays duty exempt. For
De
tariff
minimis
exempt.
is Latin for of the smallest amount.
Thank you, Freddie.
See,
I knew
guys,
you'd know the Latin somehow.
we have 120 people watching, and we all just got smarter.
Just a little bit.
Mhm.
That's why you need to come to the kids' table.
That's right.
and
That's
everybody
exactly right.
bask in the fact that like we've got Vince memorizing numbers like that, but I'm sure he saw it once and it stuck in his head. You know, I've been shipping, like I've shipped thousands of antennas and I still don't remember the number. I have it like
So,
shaped my screen.
Ben, you see, that's the difference between you and me. You've shipped thousands. I've shipped dozens. You've got an automated system, spitting out your stuff to the USPS online. I type them all by hand.
Okay, let me help you with that.
Yeah.
Then I gotta ask you a question. You just mentioned thousands of antennas.
Yeah.
So if you think back to when you had this idea in your head,
Mhm.
and I know you're a maker by trade.
Yeah.
But when you thought about that, when you first, had this idea and sat around the, kitchen table and drew it up, did you ever think that a year later or 2 years later, you would have sold thousands of these antennas?
No, not even close. Like I was thinking like, oh man, I've got like a great side income to, so I can buy my next radio, not this is going to be my job. Right. And what happened on the first day that I put it up for sale, I just said, like, I put out a video saying, hey, would you be interested in buying this if I made it? And I ended up having like 1,000 people sign up within a few days. It blew me away.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Then, it was like a week later, I figure, okay, I'll make 100. Maybe I can sell 100. This will be awesome. And they sold out in less than an hour. The next batch, I figured, okay, I'll make them bigger or make a bigger batch. I'll make 200. They sold out in less than 45 minutes. The satiation point of people getting it seemed to happen around the 500 or 600. And yeah, now I'm at, I think, well, let's see, I've ordered, I'm basing this off of how many PCBs I've ordered, and I've gone through 2 sets of 2,000 PCBs. So my third set has been in. So yeah, that's.
And so those PCBs are used in more than just the Faraday.
Yeah, they're
You're using them on the
everything.
flaggy, the Moxon, everything. Yeah, it's a common board, right?
And the thing is that that's also sold on my site. So like, if you think my antenna is expensive, and I get that, believe me, I won't hold this against anyone. I also have the plans you can get, but you can buy the Faraday tape. And I recommend everybody should buy a roll of Faraday tape and throw it into their Go kit, because if a wire breaks or something like that, or literally if you need an extra inch on the end of wire that you cut, literally put the tape on it and pull that inch out and you're good to go. But go and make your own. And I sell the PCB board separately, both as a kit that you can solder up yourself, because I get little spare pieces, and then ones that are soldered up. And go out and make your own antennas. Like, be an idiot like me. And like, here's one thing: that our house is just getting resited because we had a hailstorm damage the entire house. And a video that will be coming up is I took the Faraday cloth, I taped it to the vinyl siding of my house. I hooked on one of these BNC connectors, and it made a great antenna. So, and nobody could see it. It's just a little, like this little shiny, gold silver thing sticking to the side of my house.
So you have another
HOA
purchase.
muster?
So
Sorry,
Ben,
Bill?
you have another purchase here. Chris Bricker said, sold. It's on the way. I finally got one. Now stop spending my money. No more.
Although Chris Becker also says he needs an extra inch too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't we all?
Don't we all? Yeah.
Well,
and
I got an
Vince-
email exchange with Freddie Mac here, and like, the man, there's too many acronyms. Not APRS. What is it? What's your
All-Star.
big thing?
All-Star Link,
All-Star.
ASL3.
Right. And I started looking through some of your videos, and I'm like, damn it. But I'm lucky because I already have some Raspberry Pis. I've
Well,
got
that's
a
a good
couple Pi
start.
hats. But like, I'm going to be losing money because of him.
Man, I tell you what, it's a super addiction, man. I'm telling you.
And Vince, those dozens of labels you make. Now let me just make sure I have it right. You didn't draw those out through the CW paddle into the label maker that spits out labels. So each character is hand done by you through Morse code, right? Right?
Yes. Yes. Let's go with that.
Yep.
That's how he touched those computers, through Morse code.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then how wide of a tape would you recommend? Some of the people were asking about the
Oh yeah, good question.
tape on Amazon. Or do you have a particular like
Like you
1
said,
inch wider than 2 inches or better than 2 inches, or is that
to throw a roll in a Go kit? How wide?
Oh, the tape, I would say 10 millimeter wide would be the tape to use. Yeah.
So 10 millimeter wide is 3/8 of an inch for those of you in Freedom units.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good, that's sort of like my go-to stuff. The stuff for the Moxon and whatnot, or even the slot antennas, I use 1 inch. A lot of that is because Moxons and slot antennas deal a lot with the capacitance, and that warms things up. But here's the win on the Faraday fabric: because it's a bunch of open weave like this, it dissipates the heat just as fast as it gets it.
Ooh.
So we've jammed a lot of power through some of these antennas, and nothing's melted. So when you get the 6 meter, if you want to like throw as many watts as you want through it, and I'll give you a free one if you tell me what the wattage was that burned it out, and what whether you're using digital or not, I think would also be a good thing to know.
So Ben, Mark over at Boondock Technologies, you might know him for Boondock Echo.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you do simulations using
Echo.
that tape for NEC, easy NEC, etc.? What changes do you have to make?
Did somebody say
So
Boondock
this
Echo?
is, I've
Echo.
tried
Echo.
so hard to do simulations, and nothing seems to be able to replicate the properties of it. It's kind of a freaky material, because for the longest time I thought that its velocity factor, when I was going through the J-pole, if I did my measurements backwards through the J-pole calculator, it showed me that I had a velocity factor of 1.15, which is over parity. Obviously doesn't make any sense. But like, it was the only thing I had to go on. But then other antennas seem to play, like a slot antenna, like the 2 meter slot antenna works at the same measurements that would normally be for a J-pole, but my J-pole is a little longer. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. recently I found out that the velocity factor is probably around 0.5. And this is me guessing. I don't have any empirical data on this. This is just me playing with the material. So now that we've established 0.5, then that kind of makes sense that the J-pole, I can make a J-pole that is the same length as a regular one or something fairly close. But in this case, because it's 0.5 for the velocity factor, it's no longer a half wave, it's a full wave antenna. Right? So it becomes this kind of weird dichotomy of what's going on. So anyway, that whole long spiel is that when you deal with the capacitive coupling and stuff, things get warm. And the fabric sort of takes care of itself for the most part. The breakdowns that I've found when we've overpowered it are at the circuit board where you have metal touching the Faraday cloth. So you just need a really big piece of metal to dissipate the heat so it doesn't melt the fabric underneath it. But otherwise, it seems to handle the power no problem.
There you go, Mark.
And yeah, thank you. Got to hook this one up soon.
Nice.
And maybe to an all-star node. Who knows?
Way to do it.
Oh, you're killing me, people. All my profits are going up in the air.
See what you step into when you come to the kids' table, Ben?
We've got all
Vince,
corners
we're
of
gonna
it.
have to have a chat about the hey, you should hop on the call.
I gotta say,
spending
Freddie,
time, huh?
Freddie, you would. Oh, I just got to see your face now. Like I won like in my one of my club meetings. We do little raffles and giveaways. I've been sitting on. I think I had a Raspberry Pi 3 or 4 that I haven't even opened it. Like the seal is still on the box, and I've had it for like 2 years.
Man, that's worth money. You should
And anytime
Dude.
I'm watching your premieres, I'm just thinking like, I got to do this. I got to get around to doing this or something, because I've never done any of the digital. I have 2 D-Star radios. I've never done D-Star, let alone All-Star or DMR or anything like that. And
You could do both.
Is
You
it
could get a
really
Pi and
digital,
put
though, is it?
an MMDVM hat on it and do D-Star, and you can get another Pi and either hook it up to a radio or get you a radio hat and do All-Star. Dude,
Yeah.
I should be a half owner in Raspberry Pi by now. It's me. It's
You
all
should.
the things I've
Well,
bought.
everybody put their hands up if they have like probably 30 pieces of equipment that they plan on throwing onto their radios that hasn't done anything for like the last 2 months. Right?
I love how Vince is like,
I hate
one.
saying it, Boondock guys. I've got it. It's sitting here, but
Oh, wow.
it hasn't.
No, I was slow because I had to think, was it 30 or is it only 20?
Well, the one thing is with All-Star and D-Star. With D-Star, I thought when I first got in, I was like, oh my God, these digital modes make so much sense. And I got the Pi hat, figured that would go well. Then I bought the Bofang D-Star radio. I can't remember what it is, but it's been sitting there collecting dust because the second I realized that you had to do, like, I was having problems just coding it, and then some people are talking about code plugs, and I'm like, damn it, I don't want to learn another thing.
There's a bunch of things.
D-Star, no code plugs needed.
C4FM, no cord plugs needed.
I love C4FM.
Yeah.
D-Star makes me angry.
I'd say all of the digital modes, I think C4FM is the easiest because it doesn't require any kind
Totally.
of special knowledge to do it. But my favorite, and I say this all the time, my favorite digital mode is All-Star.
Yep.
Tim,
That's right.
P25.
And well, the thing
It
is,
has its place.
my Pis have been sitting around,
Y'all are
not
wrong.
going anywhere because I thought I had to have a digital radio. But then when I started seeing, well, wait a minute, All-Star doesn't need to be digital, the Pi Star does. And I'm like, oh my God, they've been sitting here for all this time and I could have been using them.
Yeah.
Y'all are wrong.
So-
the original digital mode, CW. Just saying.
Well,
Mark,
there you go. That's
Mark from Boondock Technologies mentioned that there's now the Boondock Tango. And actually, he's going to join us. I think it's next Wednesday. And he's going to talk to us about the Boondock Tango.
Mark, don't join them. Your wallet will get lighter.
Well, he's going to come on. He's going
yourself,
to
man.
basically talk to us. But what that is I think it's more of a community edition, if I'm calling that correctly. But I've got the board here that you can build this Boondock Tango on your own. And so that's part of what we're going to do on a stream is I think I'm going to build this while we're talking to Mark about this and the Boondock Echo and everything. And, how we can do fun things like integrate AI and some of the other cool technologies out there. I know it's not ham radio, but integrate that with ham radio. So,
yeah.
And I just dropped Boondock in the chat and sharing it in the private chat so it can be shared to the pair channels.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're talking
And
about
if she isn't gone yet, have a great evening, Karen.
Yep.
You see this?
Yep.
The mesh tie stick.
The mesh tie
Oh
stick.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Are you, Ben? Are you going to wear that down in Hamvention?
I can't go down to Hamvention this year, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I think that tie is going to look great with my Ham Radio Workbench shirt.
Well, yeah, no, it's yours to take down there, man.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll wear the mesh tie stick.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
And Mark has it right with the new Boondock. Build your own, no tariffs.
That's right.
Right
There's
on.
and we'll get more into it on the Wednesday night stream. There's a basic simple set of parts. They've got them available on the website that you can order from Amazon, and it's fairly simple. You need a 3D printer to print the case, but if you don't have one, I'm sure you got a buddy that does. So
Yeah. Indeed.
Everybody knows somebody with the 3D printer. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, I had resisted for a long time on getting one because I just never really. I was like, what the heck do I need a 3D printer for? And then the next thing you know, it's like, hey, go to my buddy. Can you print this for me? A couple days later, go to my buddy. Can you print this for me? Or then I talk to him, and it's like, the next thing you know, I spend more time with him on the phone or through a Zoom session, and not really see it. And I get this whole stack of things that I need to go pick up. And finally, I'm like, I'm just going to get one that way, because in actually doing more and more stuff with ham radio and the maker side of things, and they're just so easy and convenient to have around the house.
Oh yeah.
And they're really, at the end of the day, they're not much more expensive than a laser printer. So, well,
Yep.
The thing is that with 3D printers, the cheaper it gets, you can pay for it in two ways. One is with sweat equity and one is with money. If you pay for the expensive printer, it's going to be plug and play. You send it a file, it's done. If you buy a less expensive one, you're going to spend time maintaining it, leveling it, making sure that it's
Fixing
going
it.
to run properly. And like, it's not throwing shade on either method. It's just what do you have
It's the reality.
available to you?
Yes.
So Ben, Chris has a question. What kind of note are you going to build into the tie?
Oh, the tie's already built. This is a mesh stick, or mesh tie, mesh tastic.
Mesh tie stick.
I've got marbles in my mouth for the last few days. So anyway, there's the antenna. So that's a J pole for the 900 and 908 is what I tuned it for. And on the inside, so you've got my connector for the antenna, and there's the ZOW board node and the battery. It's all contained.
Far
Nice.
out.
There you go.
That's a great idea.
do you have the GPS module?
I don't have a GPS in there. I have yet to wire one up, but
That'd be a big battery drain. If you want
It
to know
is
where
a big
Vince is, just hit me up on Meshtastic. I'll tell you where I am when I'm wearing it.
Yep.
No, just what you do even better, Vince. Did it did it. Just do that repeatedly. You'll come running.
Yeah, that might work.
Yeah.
Dan, WP4 Dan, good evening, Dan. Poto royalty at his finest.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one who thinks Meshtastic is hard to say. Yeah, got that right.
well, when Vince and I were doing, what was it yesterday? There was something. Oh, an antenna analyzer. I could not for the life of me say that. I was like Daffy Duck going, yeah. Or no, Porky Pig's the one who stutters. Never mind. See, I can't even do that right.
Ba-dee, that's all, folks. Yeah, that'll be it.
Yeah. Hey, so I just noticed the time. We're at about 2 hours and 36 minutes. That's a pretty fun Friday night. I think we probably should start looking at winding down. Real quick, who wants to start off with what they got coming up? And Alan, you want to take it?
You might as well
Pretty
start down at the bottom here.
Might as well
then-
let Paul go first.
Right.
all right, Paul.
Yeah, we'll start at the bottom. So I got a bunch of videos that are currently in process. I got some new AI songs that are coming out to add to the AI playlist. So
Nice.
yeah, keep an eye out for that. And then Weekend Warriors, we're going to do a live stream next Saturday.
Awesome. No, is it going to be live, or are you recording it to play back at a later time?
Oh no, it'll be live. It'll be all the
Live.
shenanigans.
'Cause I
Shenanigans.
don't know. I watched it the last time. It was a little spicy. I mean, I'm a sailor and I speak like a sailor. It was a little spicy.
Well, Tim, if you want to join us, you're more than welcome.
Okay, I might do that.
Ham radio after dark.
That's right. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining tonight, Paul. Alan, how about you?
Thanks for having me.
Well, speaking of ham radio after dark, I got a couple of videos coming up. Going on more hikes out here in Indiana. There were two adjacent parks that were right next to each other. And I decided it would be a good idea. Let's go get both of those parks activated in the same day on daylight savings time and experiment with my speaker wire dipole and, set it up at a couple of different heights. And that worked out great. I got this thing dialed in like 17 feet above the ground. It worked great. And then I decided as the sun was going down, it would be a good idea to just get that other park activated too. And it ended up being a swamp and after dark. And I got QRM'd hard, but ain't nobody stopping me. So that's going to be fun. And so I got lots of more adventure related content and lots more plans. I got like 3 more big trips that I want to go on. So subscribe to Punk Rock Ham Radio and join me.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen it, both Paul's and Alan's channels are showing up in the chat there. So if you haven't done so already, please go subscribe to their channels. Frank, what do you got going on?
Well, unfortunately, work has kept me very, very busy. The railroad life doesn't end ever, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, things change up a little bit here soon, and I will have much better lighting next time you see me. As I said towards the beginning of the live stream, I'm using a temporary setup with my siblings' streaming setup, and I had to bring in my own lights real quick because they don't stream at night. They usually don't do video stuff. Other than that, I'm working on a couple videos. Got to wait for the computer to come back from repair. Well, not back, get the parts in and get all that taken care of and get me back up and running. And then I'll have a couple videos edited. I also have, I'm going to plug this because it is mine as well. I have a second channel that is my photography channel. And I actually have more videos going up on that.
Oh,
And he's gone.
Where'd you go?
No.
Hey, Frank. Go back, dude.
Oh, Tim.
There he is.
Oh, anyway, photography channel's in the chat already. I've had videos going up there because I had a backlog of drone footage, and I just spliced and sliced and got it all done, and it's up. And hopefully, ham radio will turn back to normal shortly. And apparently, Cooley has made a contact with Alan on 7200.
I've never been on 7200. Was it 7.288 the other night when I was getting jammed all hard?
Might have been.
Paul
Who
is
knows?
our resident 7200 practitioner. And for a second there, Frank, I thought you said you had a backlog of drunk videos.
That's what I was going with too.
Backlog of drone videos.
Yeah.
And
Drunk
I
drones, maybe.
do various things like Let's Fly series where I will go over town and I'll give a little bit of the history of the town and what's going on in it now, or a certain area of the town. Lots and lots of fun. But hopefully we'll see more videos and a lot more live streams coming out of me soon. Hopefully I will be here Wednesday to egg Mark on with Boondock Technologies.
Sounds
Echo,
Sounds
echo,
good.
echo.
Well, thank you, Frank. Freddie Mac.
Hi, everyone. I'm Freddie Mac, your ham radio crusader. Yep, I've been working on a lot of stuff here lately. As you can see, the other night I dropped 2 videos for customizing your Supermon interface. For those of you that may or may not know, Supermon is a dashboard for your All-Star Link. And I figured Supermon, exactly. So figured out a way to pimp it out a little bit with a little help from Jeff K3JRZ and some
Is
other
that like
friends.
Pimp My Supermon?
Pimp your Supermon,
Pimp it.
man.
Pimp Your Supermon.
Pimping ain't easy.
But yeah,
Somebody's got to do it.
I didn't choose the pimping life. It chose me. But anyway, got a few things. I got a video coming out next week about how to install DV Switch server on a PC. Most of the video really covers how to get Debian 12 installed onto a PC, and then we follow up in that same video about the DV Switch server. But I get a lot of questions. How do I get Linux onto a PC? I don't, and I just kind of give them the nuts and bolts and mechanics of that, because All-Star Link 3 runs really well off of it. So that's up and coming. Got an antenna review that I have got to do soon. And I know you've heard of this illustrious brand, Guzizu. Sent me an infed. I think they're from the Orient somewhere. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
I think it's that they're from Mexico.
Mexico. Anyway, the Guzizu is up and coming. It's in the box. I've actually opened the box. It's a big infed. We're just going to see where it goes.
I've seen their names popping up lately, but
yeah.
I think you don't know how the Chinese brands operate.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen several other Chinese antennas that are being rebranded with this name on it.
Yeah.
So.
They also rebranded one of the cloned Shari Pi Hat, not a Pi Hat, it was a Shari nodes that go in. It has it's like a box, and it's got its own little 2 USBs, and it plugs into the Pi that way laterally. They cloned one of those. They're noisy as heck. Some of them are good. Don't get me wrong. They're not all bad, because it's poor quality stuff. But I got to looking at my emails, and I had an MMDVM board I'd ordered from them a year and a half ago that I sent back as soon as I got it, because it just didn't work. So we're going to give their antenna a try. So I've been just chomping at the bit to do some POTA. At the time, the weather's really horrible here. We've had terrible windstorms the last week and a half. So we're going to get out and do something. And of course, got all kinds of All-Star Link stuff coming up. So y'all stay tuned.
Chris Bricker, I just want to say this, since it's a pair channel, I can't respond directly. No, I am not the reason why the drones are being called out by everybody. That's on the other side of the country.
Yeah, that's in Jersey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mike, what you got going on, buddy?
I'm doing my best to stop the drones, but
are you using your horizontal?
Well played, man.
Are you using your horizontal Yagi to?
Cross polarization's a bitch, but
Mike, you can never stop us.
I got no shortage of stuff that I want to work on, create videos for, get content out. But at the end of the day, tonight's not about me. I just want to say thank you to everyone on the stream tonight, everyone who watched in the chat, everyone who clicks on this on Team Replay and everything. 2 years ago, as a new ham, a new YouTuber, to get the chutzpah to reach out to somebody else and say, hey, let's coordinate premieres before Ham Radio Clubhouse, and to think that it would turn into what it has today, to how it's grown and how it's helped other people grow their channels and everything, man. It's just it's so rewarding. It's a great feeling, and I can't say thank you enough. So I do my best to support everyone else, and I want to see everybody else have fun and succeed, because I know at the end of the day we're all having a blast.
Amen to that.
Mhm.
Well said, Mike.
Yeah.
Jeff, what you got going on? Oh, that's right. Let's do that.
I'm bringing my Mac next time,
Oh.
you guys.
Windows can't do that.
Yeah. What you got going on, Jeff?
Well, hello there.
How you doing?
Hello there.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How
You doing?
Yeah, I got a video I'm working on. I got some ideas I've been playing around with it. I just gotta get to actually filming. I was supposed to do some traveling, but I canceled that due to 2 different reasons. So I'll hopefully hit some new parks soon when I travel. And yeah, I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm getting close, slowly. It's creeping up to there, but I'm getting tired of talking about it. And
All right, folks, we need your help. Jeff needs to
Please.
get to
I'll do it.
2,000 subs. Can you all hit on the link that Frank has been dutifully putting on the channel and give this man a sub if you haven't already? Thank you so much.
You will
And
don't
if
even
you're
have to
on
watch
one
the
of the
video,
paired
just
channels,
subscribe.
and if you're on one of the paired channels that you're not on the Ham Radio Kids Table channel, come on over to Ham Radio Kids Table channel, click that link, and enjoy.
Yes,
And
please.
subscribe to the Ham Radio Kids table while you're there.
The closer I get, the quicker it'll get done. I just feel like it's been going on for like 6 months now. I want to say I could be wrong, but it seems like it. But all in due time, I know that. But yeah, so once we do that, I'll be excuse me, a fun thing to do. 7 prizes to give away, 7 prize packages, and there'll probably be some bonus items in there too. We'll see.
Ooh.
Yes. And there might be like a huge grand prize too. That will come once this gets even closer. So we'll see what goes on with that. But yeah, fun times.
come for the videos, stay for the POTA. Or come for the POTA and stay for the videos. Jeff makes the best POTA videos I ever seen. I love them.
Thank you.
Awesome. He does a good job with the 8-bit graphics.
It's totally awesome.
It takes us all back to our early
Nintendo.
Oh man,
6502 roots.
Nintendo 60, yeah, Commodore 64, Atari 2600.
Nice.
Yeah, all those.
yeah, those were the
Pog.
Word on the street is when he hits 2,000 subs, he's going to upgrade to 64.
Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64. Yeah,
Super K3JRZ.
Commodore 64, are you sure?
you come out with your old gaming console.
Mm-hmm.
It's all built on an Android phone.
There you go.
Well,
Vince, what you got going on, buddy?
Hey, so I have no videos coming up yet because I have been a kitting machine. If y'all aren't aware, I can help you learn CW through the W8BH Morse Tutor. It's a kit that a buddy and I sell. We do it for beer money. Frankly, in the last couple of months, it's been more than beer money. We've been busy, which is great. That means a lot of people want to learn CW. So drop into my website, take a peek at it. Frank, thanks for sharing my YouTube channel out there. I've got some content out there, and boy, it's to echo what Mike says. Thank you so much for the companionship, the compassion, and the brotherhood you've shown me to help me grow my channel. I greatly appreciate it, y'all. That's it, Tim.
All right, Ben, how about you? What do you got? What do you got going on? What do you got coming out for videos?
Do you do stuff, Ben?
Yeah, well, I here's the things. I haven't put out that many videos. I want to, but I'm busy making freaking antennas.
You just keep doing what you're doing there, buddy.
Yeah, no. I get that. So there's more stuff coming. But I also just did a huge spiel and kind of hijacked a good 40 minutes of this. So I'm not gonna go into that. But like, yeah, I'm the ham radio rookie. Much like Mike, I'm a couple years into the hobby, and I'm completely blown away. This is one thing I found that's kind of funny is I've never met a sad ham. Like, they exist in the comment section, but I have never met one. Right? Like it's one thing that like you go out to these coffee meetups or you meet somebody like Vince or whatnot, and 99% of them are there to share their knowledge, and it's just this wonderful community. I just absolutely adore it. I've done props and special effects and engineering and stuff, and some of those communities are toxic as hell. So this is really nice. So,
Awesome.
yeah, that's all I got to say.
Thanks
Hey,
for coming
Tim.
and being with us.
Tim, what about you, man? What's coming up?
I had a video in the works. I'm going to pull it for financial self-preservation, legal reasons.
He
I
can't afford
didn't
it.
think, I was actually doing some handling of live electrical circuits, and I didn't think that it sounded good on paper.
Oh.
It sounded good when I filmed it. When I was editing, I'm like, I don't know if I don't want somebody getting hurt. That's the bottom line. And if somebody wants to learn electrical safety, I mean, obviously, learn it with somebody who is qualified, who's trained and can help you do that. I don't know if doing that from a YouTube video is the best thing. So got some other projects, obviously we're getting warm weather back here. I got shut down because of the cold weather from doing the antennas and everything, bringing all the radio gear from the house out here to the ham what did my wife call it? Ham sandwich, not the ham shack or the ham shed, but she calls it the ham sandwich.
Bless her heart.
Yes, bless her
And
heart.
so redoing that, doing the electrical and everything. I actually did have Testman reach out to me. I'm a big fan of good enough, right? And in amateur radio, good enough is good enough. We don't need to waste our time sometimes buying the most expensive of everything, or the if it's good enough, it does the job. It's good enough. And I like to find test gear. Like, I'll use a Nano VNA all day long. Testman's a brand of meters that I've used, and so they've got another one coming out. It actually just kind of tied right into what I was doing here, so it was great. They agreed to send me a second one actually to give away, so we'll be doing that too. Also, 3,000 subscriber giveaway. I've got a video coming out. I'm going to do one last push. We've already crossed over it, but and everybody, and then we'll be giving that away. And that's the prison edition of the 5.5 amp hour battery. And no, Freddie Mac, you cannot put it in your prison wallet. Well, you probably could, but it is a 5.5 amp hour battery in the clear wrap, which is kind of unique. Dennis has only made a few of those batteries, so it's you're going to be the owner of that will be I think it's probably less than 10. I know I've got a couple. Well, I got the one, and I got the second one that given away, and then I know Frank has got one. It's a very small community of people with the prison edition of batteries. So that's what we got going on.
And before we wrap things up all the way, Paul, even though he's not on screen anymore, he just gifted 5 memberships to one of the paired channels. And I see Quirky James got one of them. So maybe
James is hanging out on it.
Yeah, maybe because I've gotten them when I've been in work and I've gotten home hours later and gone, oh, I have an email of a gifted membership. Cool.
Well, it's because we're using your channel.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
I also looky there. Look at him, James. We've had all kinds of T-shirt ideas for you. So if you haven't been watching all night long, you're going to go back on Team Replay.
Yep. All 3 hours, James.
We've been making you money, dude.
That's right.
And remember, spurious commissions. I need to get paid.
He gets a 12% commission for those.
I will say this. I want to thank everybody that's watching and has watched and is subscribed to all of us and the Ham Radio Kids Table and whatnot. I want an extra special shout out though to Andy Cowley. He's in the chat. It is what 2-3 o'clock in the morning over there right now.
Oh,
He is there for all our premieres. He is there for every live stream. Andy, I have you on Facebook. You are awesome, my guy. Thank you,
Frank. You didn't. We've already determined. We've adjudicated that Andy Cowley is a bot.
Oh no! I caught that, but I have proof that he's not.
Okay.
We just got proof of life.
We haven't gotten proof of life yet. I think Freddie Mac has requested proof of life.
We're working on getting proof of life from Andy Kelly, our brother.
But yes, Andy Cowley is a huge supporter of all the live streams, and I think he is the first in just about everybody's chat, live stream
Almost.
chat, or premiere chat too. So, which is awesome. Now doesn't. He's over. I think he's over in Europe, so he gets a few hours ahead of everybody else to
it's
do that,
currently 2 or 3 in the morning over there.
3 in the morning.
James, yes, the shirts, and also how dare Tim solo me for just a second. You can feel free to hit the dump.
Oh, this is a Frank rant coming. I can feel it.
No,
James, how dare you tease me like that, Loomis? Tomorrow you're going, really? How dare you tease me? I have to go back into work in 2 hours. How dare you tease me? No. Have fun. Let me know on Thursday night on the NorCal Swap Net what you find there, please.
Find all the good stuff. Tell him you found all the good stuff just to make him really go ape.
Tell him you got a trunk full of Motorola radios.
Vince, I already know the usual suspects for Loomis, so I'm good. It's a local ham swap. It's one of the first ones. It's actually the first one of the year.
Tim, thank you for being our mission control this evening and handling the Brady Bunch. Yeoman's work, man.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you a bunch.
I'm still learning. This is all new to me. But I appreciate everybody being here, and we have started, I think, hopefully, a very, very fun thing with the Ham Radio Kids Table. I'm glad that Mike and Scout Shane got together and did that, and then said, "Hey, let's start adding some people to that."
Yep.
If you are a content creator, if you guys are a content creator and you're interested in doing something like that and getting your videos in, we've got Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, and Thursday nights that we're putting premieres out. Reach out to us. Let's see what we can do to get you in with the group, because we're here to help. We want to have fun, not only just in amateur radio, but also documenting our hobby,
our journey,
and getting it out there for the next generation, because
adventures.
This is tomorrow's classroom. It's today's classroom. What am I talking about? This is today's classroom, and that's kind of been the driving force behind the kids table. Is it's not about age; it's a mindset. So,
right on.
Yeah.
Well said, Tim.
All righty.
Well said, indeed.
So, with that being said, I got to shift hands to my left hand so I can click on the thing. I guess everybody, say bye.
A stranger.
Later.
7-3, ham smarter.
Come on, y'all.
73.
Hold on.
Woo!